wide world will welcome the rising sun. Here comes the time for everyone to see that what will be, will be. This is the time for you and I to stand together as one. Yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are, because the sun is rising. We shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. We spent our lives in pain and misery, never gonna trade our freedom with any mystery. It's affecting our soul and it's killing us slow. With what we've been through, we are far from being good, but we are blessed by Chukwuka Biama. So we're never gonna give up. We're never gonna give up. There'll be light in the end of a tunnel. It will shine so bright all time. The whole wide world will embrace us. Nobody can stop us, nobody can cage us, nobody can stand us, yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are, because the sun is rising. We shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. Through windows and curtains, green lights be revealing. When I think about how blessed we are, goosebumps all over my body. Sunrise to the black stripe, black strands crossing grey stripes. Clashes upon clashes, many lives turn to ashes. When I ponder and reminisce, the actions I see malice. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag all around the world. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag all around the world. We go carry the cross together. We walk through to Zion. We stumble, we rise. How the victory was done. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? I still wave your flag all over the world, because the sun is rising. I still be shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. They would know, they would know, they would know. Keep our light shine, the sun is rising. Wave your flag anywhere you are. Keep our light shine, the sun is rising. Keep our light shine, the sun is rising. Freedom, freedom, yeah. Shine the sun, we are rising.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Biafrans all over the world. Good evening, friends of Biafra and the lovers of freedom. I want to welcome you this evening to this wonderful program. A program we've all long awaited for in anticipation is here, and I want to say welcome. We are live on BTV Europe. We are live on our satellite channel. Every day I continue to remind you, for those who haven't downloaded their BTV app, to do so in earnest, because you also need to watch us on the satellite when the need arises. So I want to welcome each and every one of us to this wonderful edition of Lolo Uchechi Kanu having some time with us. And like I promised, she's have decided to give Biafrans a rare opportunity for a general interaction. And that opportunity, I know a lot of people are going to take advantage of it, where you can make your call, ask your question, and she's going to respond to the ones that she can, and the ones that she cannot, we just keep it by the side. So it's my pleasure once again. As you join us, please share this program, tag your friends, invite your friends, make sure that everybody around you is following this program. This program is all over the place, everywhere, globally. People want to hear from Lolo Uchechi Kanu. People are excited, and I know that The expression of love that you have for her, you're also going to show that this evening. So I want to officially welcome Lolo, Nwada Lolo Uchechi Kanu to BTV Europe. Nwada Lolo, good evening and welcome to BTV.
Good evening, Mazi Patrick, and thank you.
Yes, it's my pleasure to have you. I'm so delighted to have you here this evening. And as much as I'm delighted, I know that Biafrans are even more delighted because this is a rare occasion. We know that you often patronize our sister station, the Radio Biafra, where you regularly hold programs. But today we are bringing you on Biafra Television Europe to have wonderful interactions with us. And I know that this will give a lot of people opportunity to see your face, one on one, and also have that interactive moment that many have always wanted to. If it's possible for Biafrans to pack their bags and come and live in your house, they don't mind doing so. But I know that this program will offer all the necessary answers that people have been seeking for, especially when it has to deal with how you have been able to cope with the situation generally, and some of the certain information for the fact that you have uh, had the privilege and the opportunity in many occasions to see the leader of IPOB, Mazi Nnamdo Kanu. A lot of people would like to hear from you on some of the discussions you've had as regard to his position of things in IPOB, and in general terms. So I just want to first of all ask you, how has it been, playing a double role as a mom and a dad at the same time? How challenging has it been for you?
Oh, thank you, Mazi. It has been very challenging. Um, if you recall, this is some sort of challenge that I have had to face in the past. 2015, I was pregnant with Nnamdo when Onyundo was taken, kidnapped. Well, and being pregnant, heavily pregnant, and I think I'd gone into my about to go into my third trimester, and in fact, that was one of the most dangerous times I've had to face in my life. And then when I had another came, at least my mom was still alive, and she came and she well for the first she helped me look after Nabi came and helped me go through that moment because it was quite difficult and dangerous, I must say. And it wasn't just being pregnant and having to fight for the life and safety of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I was also faced with some social and um, there's some social issues as well, and problems from all over the place, social, physical, mental, and psychological. So it was quite difficult. So over time I've had to learn. You don't learn things, sometimes you have a lot of things in you without knowing how I don't even look like I can go through half of what I've been through, but it seems to be that when you are a person, there are certain traits that you would have from your mother and your father, and then you have your social reformations and the rest of it, and how you're trained, and how you personally have come to understand things and perceive things, and having a goal or what you want, whatever you want to achieve, and being able to walk through that path regardless what the problem is. So in fulfilling a role of mother and father, it's something that has to be done. So I remember Onyundu then when he got when he got out in Kuja, he did say to me, "Oh, he was in my mechanic." So, yeah, like I'm everything engineer as well. I have to change batteries and do a lot of things. Taking up became to wherever and do other things. So it's overwhelming, but it has to be done. And because that is what the challenge is about, I deal with it. I am someone who I do very well with pressure and challenge. I mean, when something becomes an obstacle, one of our sisters did say that, and I did smile. Like, people who were born on a day such as mine, 28th of August, quite peculiar. And I like it when people come to me, they need to understand who I am. I'm not just your ordinary person. So you need to understand that when I have an obstacle, it needs to be dealt with and I obliterate it. So that is how I just go through the daily fitting in of mother and father.
Yeah, so who would say that the Nigerian justice system have rendered you a single mom in the short term? The denial of justice.
Of course.
You know? Yes, and how have you been able to garner the strength, the inspiration? Because you are just saying yes, there are certain things you have within you that comes out eventually when you face challenges. But outside within you, how on your own have you been able to find that strength and the energy to say, I'm going to stand up to this challenge and notwithstanding that I'm going to be there for my son and I'm also going to be there for my husband. Mm, how are you able to garner those strength and the energy to sustain yourself all these while? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I understand what your question is about. So to garner strength, like I said, you have a challenge, and a challenge means that you have a goal and you need to meet that goal. So outside of myself or whatever traits that I have garnered, sometimes, like I said, it's quite overwhelming. So I do a lot of spiritual exercises. I will because in terms of traits and experience and consciousness, I have it's something I've done in the past, but something I have taken a step further on to practice on, which is consciousness and helping people to kind of map out sometimes when their journey is quite daunting and what they can do about it. So that's life coaching. I've been quite, I mean, I'm experienced in life. I might not be very old, but I have quite a lot to teach. So outside of myself, I garner strength from spiritual activities, a lot of it. Um, for example, I've had to coach some.
We're not. You've muted. Can you please unmute? I think you touched somewhere on the. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, sorry, I did this. So it touched. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry
Okay.
about that. Okay, so in consciousness, I found being able to understand the problem, because these things can be overwhelming and you can easily fall into depression or fall into a lot of issues. So, for example, last Christmas, it was Oyendu's court case. That was on the 15th of September of December rather, and before that time, I had an interview with BBC from organized by the leadership of IPOB, and how after that interview, and I'm not sure it still aired, it hasn't been published, or even before the interview, I had began to see signs of unsettling patterns in my thoughts and that's depression. I mean, you need to understand what it is. So when I see signs, I do know, and that's where the consciousness comes from. And it was easier for me. So I thought and was waiting for the 15th of December for the courts to rule. Their ruling wasn't. I mean, it was surprising, but out of that anticipation and already we know what was going on, and but at least we were hoping that these judges in the Supreme Court at least can stand for what justice is for, and not about what influence they have someone has over them. So after that declaration, or the whatever from the Supreme Court, I found myself not being able to hold any longer. So in that very moment, it was easy for me to, the only way I could sustain my energy and my consciousness was to slide into dry fasting, because that is the only level I could find myself, or I could keep myself, because no one could console me. No one could do anything to make me feel better or to make my situation look lighter. So spiritual exercise is one of the parts that I have kind of grown in order to keep up with this overwhelming feeling sometimes when it comes. So that was quite, in fact, that was the first time for me to actually go into. I have done dry fasting. I do dry fasting, which is 6 to 6, and then you drink water or eat fruits, and then the next day you carry on again for 3 days, 7 days. But I have never done dry fasting before for 3 days. No food, no water, just darkness, just I was battling with that darkness. And for me to deal with that darkness, I have to be in that darkness to fight it. So this is one of the things that I have picked up in my growth in spirituality, using the spiritual path to deal with physical things, and because it's stronger than the physical things. And then another path that I've taken to deal with this, how I garner strength, is to work out. I go to the gym a lot. So, and I found that when, are you okay? Okay, sorry. Um, kids are just
Yeah,
running
yeah,
around.
go ahead. Go ahead. We are following. Yeah.
Okay. So another path, or another pattern that I deal with these things, and I found that actually that came after I've had, and I do like to work out and go to the gym, but never really found meanings. And I'm someone who find meaning in everything that I do. In how you sit, that when someone sits down, I'm reading meaning into how the person sits down. Is everything is detailed for me. I'm constantly working in my brain. So going to the gym is fun. I like it. But it was after I had an became when Uyundu was in Kuja prison that the doctor did say to me, okay, because when I was pregnant with him, our doctor understood what my situations were, and I needed, because I wanted to go home then with the pregnancy, and he did say to me, you have some certain complications, so I will not allow you to travel. And if you're not careful, you're going to hurt yourself, you're pregnant, and the rest of it. So when I had him, I think he was just 3 months, and he said to me, you're constantly on overdrive, and I don't want to give you. Are you depressed? I said, no, I'm not depressed. I deal with. He did say to me, people who are depressed sometimes do not agree that they are depressed, but in your whenever you speak with me, you're constantly crying, and that's one of the signs of depression, or like you're sad. I said, I'm just sad, and I'm frustrated, so, and I'm exasperated, and this is what I do when I'm upset. I cry. And he said to me, okay, I don't want to give you antidepressants because you're breastfeeding a child, and I can't do that. I don't want him to feed on antidepressant medications, because these things, they have after effects, and you can end up living on antidepressants, and you just get used to it. And what do you like to do? What makes you happy? And I said, working out, going to, having to carry out physical activities and strength training. And so it does, strength training, mental training, and I love these things in particular. So he did say to me, okay, you need to go and start working out again. And I started with Pilates. So when I do these movements, it works with how I detail things consciously, and it was working with my energy flow, and I began to find balance in my worries, in my apart from praying, because you're not going to speak in, we're not going to speak in tongues, you're not going to pray for 24 hours. You will
Yeah,
pray for some time, and after praying, there are other things you see.
of
So
course.
yeah,
Because
so
the prayer ends at some point.
at some point, yeah, and in the prayer as well. So music, I like music. I like I said, I like meanings. So, and then sometimes you're going, I don't want this music, I want this, or you don't want music at all. So reading and writing a lot, I do all of that. So it's just finding the things that kind of helps me flow, and in the consciousness as well. So when I go to the gym, I began to, after 3 months, I started with Pilates, and then I started to do strength training. And I'm not very good runner. I don't run a lot. I do more of strength training. So like high intensity interval trainings, I do them a lot. And they set me, when I do it, there's something, I'm not going to say it here, but it's in my book that I'm writing. When I carry out these exercises, I kind of ascend to a certain, apart from the spiritual ascent that you go through when you do fasting, and you begin to see yourself floating above every other issues, every other thing becomes very tiny. That is what happens to me when I work out. When I do very heavy workouts, when I'm coming out with that strength, I feel so much strength, and I feel like I'm above every other thing. So that kind of sets me above. So that's how I constantly go. And sometimes I wail. Sometimes I scream and I weep and I say, God,
That's
Ibua,
also that is also a therapy on its own.
thank you. I say, this burden is heavy. Take some part of it away. And I do that, and in 20 minutes, I'm on the next challenge. So this is how I go through these overwhelming times. Sometimes it can all come together at the same time. I could be dealing with that becomes educational stuff, and there are other issues, and I'll just like scream.
I can relate. I can relate absolutely because when you talk about depression, um, each time Mazi and Nnamdo Kanu have issues, it's not just you the case. Everybody is always depressed. The entire IPOB family always feel that impact. In fact, there are people who cannot even eat for days trying to figure out, what happened and things like that. So when you even talk about you being depressed, I personally can imagine how, IPOB family comparing, so, but it's quite also interesting to see how you've been able to build your character subsequently to match the challenges, and also how you have been able to accept the reality because there are, in most cases, people fail to accept the reality, and they live in the denial of the fact that certain events are real. And for you, your ability to accept that reality helps you in dealing with the challenge. And I believe that that is where your area of strength comes in. Ability to, accept the reality and facing those challenges. And that is quite inspirational. You've also given me some sort of a lesson here because when you talked about dry fasting and things like that, it's like I have to embark on that because the way your face is glowing and shining, I believe is part of the secret of that ritual, if I may use the word. Now, there is a question I want to ask you. You've been able to give a little detail of your personal challenge and how you have been able to match up to these challenges, trying to deal with them. And in the face of all these challenges and all the whole, obstacles and situations and issues you have to deal with, we also find people believe to some extent that you actually sold your husband. You are not obliged to respond or dignify that accusation with any response, but I like to find out, when you hear such accusations, how does it make you feel?
It. I don't feel it. I just feel. Mazi, well, it's something that I know that that was directed to quite a lot of people. And I am someone who does not, I do not underestimate anybody. And I do not underestimate the capacity that a person's foolishness, or how much or how far it can go when someone is foolish. It can go a long way in ruining things and destroying things for you. Having said that, the very first time I ever heard that, I laughed. I laughed. But then when you look at the people who are saying these, they are not important. And that's one of the things that kind of drives them mad, because we all, I mean, individually, we all know the people who are important in our lives and whose sayings would matter, or whose sayings, even though the person is not important, does that person's saying has any impact somewhere, somehow? So these are the things that I watch out. So when I see comments such as that, the thing is, I just get like a report, basically, because I try not to read comments. Believe you me, I try, but I don't. Um, I laugh, and I understand that some people kind of get entertainment from people who actually need help from a mental home. So I don't take that seriously, because in a situation, you have you have a husband, you have a wife, and then you have family members, extended family members, and you have uncles and aunties, and then you have the communities, and you have the village people. So when they begin to say things that are not true, you want to find out where that is coming from. I believe in root cause analysis. So when there's an issue, I want to find out, first of all, I mean, this person apparently is unwell, but where is that coming from? Where could it be coming from? And then I just drill down. If it's important, I deal with it. If it's not important, I just ignore you. So I don't feel any, because my husband knows what happened, and we all know what happened. But because they're not in the system, they are on the outside. So they're just looking for what to say, and then they just say it, and it doesn't make any difference, and it matters not. Doesn't matter to me. So I
Okay,
don't.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, Lolo. That is a very, very perfect response. For me, bringing up the question is just, to add up to the time. Because for me, we know that it is completely irrelevant. But most of the time, it's also important to address some of these issues. Like I said earlier, that is a rare occasion for us and for Biafrans around the world. So it's important that we just pick some of these points and and discuss them. Not necessarily because they are important, but just to give it a kind of you know, point a little light on it. Now, there is a question I want to ask you. You've had the possibility of seeing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention, I mean, in few occasions. How do you describe his state of mind as regards to, you know, health wise and, you know, the struggle for Biafra restoration generally?
Okay. Thank you. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I think the very first time I ever came on the radio, 2022, I did mention that his health is not hidden, is out there in the open, that he has a heart issue. So that is still there. It is very much there. I was just waiting for setting number of petition to go through, and then I can put out an update regarding his health and what the Nigerian government has done in process of tampering with his health report. Um, so that is there, and we are seeking also to make sure that his health condition is considered, is also put and placed on the table to be discussed with, or to be discussed about, because he needs to be healthy. Whatever whatever it is they decide that that is the path they want us all to go, he needs to also be healthy in order to go through that path, to go through that process of negotiation or whatever it is. So he needs to be healthy. Um, Now, having said that, his state of mind is. I keep saying this, and I will continue to say it. Mazi Nnamdo is one of the strongest minds you will ever meet, you will ever see, you will ever encounter. It's as if you know, it's like awkward, you know, you just he's as strong as being stronger than he ever was. So he's very, very strong, and he would mention a few times. Well, he did say to me that "Ndị Igbo," and he would shake his head.
Lolo, do we say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have accepted his fate in the situation he found himself? Do we use the word that he has accepted his fate?
Mazi Nnamdi knows he's not loved because he speaks, or but before he came out, he understood what the quest entails. He also understood the people that he's fighting for, the characteristics that they're made up of. And he also knew what the journey looks like, what it would be like. So he knows that powers and principalities, and you know, before even the beginning of this journey, there are certain points or certain signs that we know, we are aware of, but not until you come into the field where you're playing, then you will begin to understand deeper meanings and deeper signs, and you get deeper understanding of what you're faced with. I will allude to Showere in his I think Honest Bunch. I referenced that some time ago, where he talked about a policy, something hidden document or something somewhere that targets the Igbo people particularly, and other parts of in other parts of Nigeria, they have unconsciously just carried on with that, where they reference Igbo people disparagingly, you know, with so much hate that they don't even understand. They're just saying it because it's becoming norm, you know. As no,
Nominala, yes.
yeah. So people have carried on to say, "Oh, Igbo, don't let them Igbo." That person, call the person and ask the person to explain what they mean. They don't even know what they mean. So people, it's become generational. They learn these norms and they just say it and just go with it, with
So
what
it
they're.
has. So we would say that it has become a culture.
It's become a culture of Igbos not being liked. And so Shawari said that. And we've said that in the past, but I was so pleased and excited, elated when Shawari said that, because it is the truth. The document is that it exists, is in existence, and it's very much in the archive where Igbos are. Like these, you see these people? They're not going anywhere. So it's true. It is, but these will be explained further in some other articles that we will write, because
Okay.
it is there. We are targeted. Is not. And that is why sometimes I do get very upset with our people, um, about how they treat themselves. But then it goes to being unconscious. They're not conscious of who they are and what they're up against. So it is it is very much there, and that is what we are fighting. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows all of this. He studied and studied and studied, and he found out where the problem is coming from. And he knew that in order to go through this fire, he need to work with his people. And that is why we're where we are today.
Beautiful. In terms of working with his people, I've also seen your relationship with the leadership of IPOB, how you have worked closely with them. How will you express your views in working closely with the leadership of IPOB, the Directorate of State, and in general terms, how do you evaluate their management skill and how they have been able to manage IPOB in the absence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu?
Hmm. Thank you, Mazi Kim. And the leadership, first of all, I don't know how to say, and I wish and I hope that our people would appreciate them for what they have done and who they are. Um, in all honesty, in sincerity, I don't usually, I wouldn't, I don't really go into IPOB leadership or begin to unfoil or unfold things and begin to ask questions and all that. But I know that in leadership, it's hierarchical, and these are the people that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kept to spearhead the movement in his absence. So my relationship with these men is it's something, well, it's circumstantial because having found ourselves where we are, we have to put our heads together and work as one. Because growing up, I understand what it means to work as a team, and I am not an emotional person. Nah, you might wait for me to support my mother or my father in a situation, but I wouldn't, because that is not what it is. It's something else. So I look at things logically. So these are the men who, whilst Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was still out with us, they worked with him and they understood, or they understand, the legacy of IPOB, legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because what is legacy? When you say legacy, it's carrying on. It's not always about money, or when someone say carry my legacy and all that. Maybe what is it called, like company, or having your children inheriting your assets and your wealth. In legacy as well, it could be character. In legacy, it's core value. So in legacy, these men are keeping the core values upon which IPOB was founded on, and they're holding on to it, and they're making sure that it does not destroy or be pulverized by the events of
By distractions.
by distractions. So
Now, before you move forward, I'm not gonna cut you off. I want you to continue from there. But have you ever in any way had any doubt in your mind for a second about the leadership of IPOB? Have you ever had any doubt in your mind about
no,
their capacity?
no, never. I don't have any doubt about their leadership or their capacity. I only pray and hope that whatever they're doing now, they would increase it more because they're doing very well and they've done very well. What they've done is, I mean, can't be seconded. So no, I've never had any doubt about their capacity to carry on because the 3 years of storm and whirlwind and tornadoes and tsunami, and they swam it all and still standing. So there is no doubt. I have no doubt about their capacity. No.
So do I say that that is a vote of confidence?
Absolutely. I mean, if of course that is is it of course is a vote of confidence. I have, yes, of course I have confidence in them. And I'm gonna imagine this to where I stopped. Um I have confidence in them because they have kept the legacy of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. They've kept that core value, which is we are not going back. We are out here for our people. Our people are suffering and we must protect them. Self preservation. That is one of the things that I preach. And these men are standing upright, standing firm for this very legacy. What more can anyone ask? So I would have been worried if they were, oh, we don't know what to do. Oh, what can we do? I would have been worried. And well, of course, I would have stood up and said something about it. But since that is not the case, it's only going to be more grease to their elbow, more strength to the strength that they already have, and making it times 1,000. Strength. And Nabikem would give me the name of the rest of the power that that it is. So yeah, maybe November Tijillion or whatever he calls them. So yes, so it's just going to be more grease to their elbow. Yeah.
So are you telling us, are you telling Biafrans today that from the accusations, because we've seen people accuse the DOS as well of selling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, just like you were also accused of selling Mazi. Are you telling us that DOS never contributed in the selling of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Is it what you are trying to? Is it the picture you are trying to paint?
Well, it's not a picture I'm painting; it's the truth. It's already painted. The picture is already painted. It's out there. It's just it's when someone wants to bring down your morale and cause you to depart from your journey. They start to throw stones and throw when people train to play chess and all that kind of trainings, you see they start to kind of incorporate some distractions and see. So I remember one of the simulation exercises that I created in the past, because in disaster recovery and the rest of them, risk management, these are the sort of things that you can create. So you create simulation exercises. You have someone who is under pressure at work, trying to do, there's been an earthquake or there's been something at work, and then you're having family emergency call, just, things, distractions. So they understood gladly, regardless, because they will feel bad that they're being accused of such thing. More especially when it's coming from a certain channel that shouldn't have been involved.
Lolo, does it mean that all through the time you visited Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he never confided in you, he never called you by the side and said, my wife, listen, these men in the DOS sold me, they contributed in my betrayal. Was there no such an interaction? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu never told you, confided in you, telling you that DOS sold him all through the time you visited.
No. If you recall, in 2021, that was during my mom's funeral, because I had to try and attend, and Onyindu said to me, "Oh, has Mazi Chikedezu called you?" And I said, "No." I said, "No, he hasn't come." He said, "He has not called you." And he Onyindu is always like a deep thinker, and he thought deeply. And I said, Mazi Chikedezu is very busy, and to be honest with you, as at that time, I wasn't quite out because that was 2021. Onyendu was taking June 2021. So I recall Onyendu made an announcement about my mom's demise on the radio when I lost my mom in March 2021. I think he made an announcement. He did say to me, I people are saying people are sending their condolence greetings to you because I asked him, did you make an, and he said yes, he did made an announcement that I lost my mom. So in that time of finding my reality, because up until now I still don't take it that my mom is dead. I just have the picture that she's somewhere that I can't reach her, even though we do reach her in the dreams and the rest of it. And she comes in the dream, but in physicality, you want that mother, interactions and advice and the rest of it. But it's not there. It comes in the dream, but I still have that thinking that she's somewhere that I cannot reach her on the phone at the moment. So that's how I've managed to deal with my mom's my mom's departure. So in that tiny time that I was trying to figure out I just couldn't make sense of it. My mom dying March, April, May, June. Within 3 months, Onyendo was taking. You can imagine what it was. And immediately I fell ill, and the ill that I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I was diagnosed of what it was. So it's not something I'm going to mention here. But I was battling with three things throughout that 2021. And I managed to go for my mom's funeral. But I didn't really attend the funeral physically. I had to go see her at the morgue, and I spoke to her, and then I left because Onion didn't want me to be there physically. So I left, and I saw Onion, and we spoke, and Onion never said anything. So I said to him, the Mazi Dozim, Mazi Dozim is not a talker, it's not much of a talker. So, but then I will tell him that Onyendo is asking if he's spoken to me. And so when I got back, I reached out to Mazi Dozim and I said, Onyendo was asking if you've spoken to me. So you better speak to me now. So he called me. That was the first time ever. That was the very first time ever we spoke. And that was it. So, and then I went again this year to see Onyendu. So Onyendu has never ever, and he gives me messages for them as well. So he's never said anything, and because they are not the ones that sold him, they did not sell Onyendu, and Onyendu understand. Onyendu knows what happened, and those who sold Onyendu are very much alive, although they have no peace. And they will get their comeuppance when the time comes.
So what we've been dealing with in that regard are just speculations, if I may use the word speculation.
Of course, it is speculation. They said that the enemy is an accuser. The enemy is an accuser. So the enemy wants to bring down. So these are some of the tactics that the enemy would use. This is one of the psychological warfare traits that the enemy would use to defame and blackmail you. Blackmail. So I did say something to you at some point. Sometimes when I speak, I don't speak, I prophesy, basically. So I did say something about blackmail and lie walking in human form. I told him that. I mean, if when he comes on and watches this, he would attest to that. Although I said that in anger, but it was something that led to that. And when all of this came and began to happen, and I began to pick out all the liars and blackmailers who, they've taken the form of, or these traits have taken the form of humans and walking amongst us. So that's just speculation, and that's one of the works of the enemies. They come with it. Oh, the enemies, yeah. That even in other countries, one of the one of the warfare tricks, or what is it called? What do you call one of the warfare weapon?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
word.
propaganda.
Yes, it's propaganda and
Yeah,
blackmail, and
yeah,
sometimes when you say blackmail, it's like, at least blackmail is you have something that you have to actually blackmail with, but it's all is propaganda. That is the word for it, and
yeah.
lies. Of course, that's what propaganda entails. Or it envelops blackmailing and lying, and yes, and the rest of
We've seen also some social media trolls on your character, on your person as an individual, people trying to paint you with different kind of brush and things like that. At some point, you very responded. But what made you start responding to some of the trolls and even start talking back?
have I talked back? Not
Well,
really.
I don't know.
No, 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 no. One thing, there's something about eagles, and I did say to you that I find meaning in everything that I do. You don't. These people. I'll give you an instance. My sister got married. My younger sister got married. It's very funny. In fact, let me before this one, let me come to Onyendu's bit. After Operation Python Dance, when I was after Onyendu came, appeared in Israel and in Jerusalem, there was my younger sister. She was in a shop, like, and some of our people were in the shop, and the other one was explaining um how I am a marine. I'm from the marine world, and I did some incantations, and I hit my hand on the wall, and Unyindu disappeared and just and came out in Israel. And my younger sister was looking at them like this, like, okay. And it became a story. In fact, Onyindu knows one of these ones where they say, "Oh, his wife is the incantation one. She's the one doing all
Right,
the."
eze nwanyị.
Yeah, she's from the water. This is Ngao, egwuregwu
Eze
ọpịọ,
nwanyị.
ushi na mmiri. No, ya na-agwọrọ Nnamdo, ọ na-agwọrọ Nnamdi kpakpa.
No, but absolutely, your prayers have definitely sustained, because the prayer of the wife is always sustaining the husband. So when you are referred to as Ezewani, those who make those proclamations are speaking from their own understanding of the kind of prayer you've offered. Because without being told, it is very, very clear that you've been supportive of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You've been there for him, both in prayers and in thought, and you've also been there physically. And that leads me to the recent petition that was signed, which I also participated in. How was the response of that petition?
Thank you, Mazi. The response, because it's global, um, I wanted to having to do that, to go through to doing petition. You know how the UK is, they think they are punishing us. They're not. They're punishing themselves, because gradually they are coming off the slide. They are going into. They're being removed from the players, the world players, and they're gradually petering out on the impact that they made globally, and that is because of Arala and their hypocrisy. So I always say that there's one of my tweets that I did say that if ever the online dictionary ever became pictorial, they should use England as hypocrisy. When they type the word hypocrisy, England should be the picture of England should show as the epitome of hypocrisy. If they've managed, in several forms to remove themselves from this very situation or behave like pretend like nothing is going on. And luckily, the members of the parliament, because they are the ones that created this all People's Party, parliament parties. So members of this parliament group came together and formed the APPG. And from because this is one of the things that happen when you begin to hear some noises all over the place. So they formed this and launched on the 8th of October. I can't remember now. Can't remember the date. But I was at the House of Commons for that launch. And it was because, or it is because of the UK national or the UK citizens who are held hostage in different countries and held arbitrarily, which Mazi Nnamdo is also one of the victims. So we attended, and I think the invite came from Richard Ratcliffe. Most of the times I've referenced the wife, Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, who was taken in 20, can't remember now. She's British Iranian, so she was abducted. But her case is also different because her husband is pure British, and her case is between the UK government and the Iranian government. So that's a different story altogether. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case is about. In fact, currently there's one of the cases that was discussed on that launch has been discussed in the Parliament before Christmas. It happened which of the Thursdays? I think Jimmy. It was discussed, but ours have not been discussed because we've not hit the target of 10K thousand, and that got me thinking. I started to think and wonder. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a leader of over how many million people, so having a signature on that petition of 10K would have been like that, but it hasn't happened, and that's over 3 months. So I'm wondering, is it that there is not enough campaign about it, or is it that these people feigning to love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or be followers of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are not aware of it, or they're just feigning, and this is a time to show that you are against the injustice being meted out on our people, because it's not about Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is the voice and face of Biafrans. So why did we not hit 10K in a month, basically?
Oh,
So
so are you saying that the petition haven't hit up to 10K up to this
no,
moment?
no, no,
Or
it hasn't. As of now, it's about 8,800 something.
is it because it hasn't gotten the publicity it required or
That's
something?
my question. I mean, that's my question. And I have over 20K followers on Twitter, and I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what to say the problem is, but I know what it is still anyway, because our case is different. When people compare us to Nelson Mandela, it's that you have some similarities as well, but we are peculiar. We are a certain kind of people. We are very special, and it's one of my frustrations that Biafrans do not know how special they are, and they lag around. They lag around and not use who they are to make waves.
No, but in my opinion, I believe that I believe that this petition have not gotten the publicity that it needs. In my personal opinion, not because our people are lackadaisical in their attitude, but I believe that the petition should be pushed further for our people to really know that this petition, because anything that has to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Biafrans do not joke with it.
Absolutely.
So yes, so for me, I think this program also will give us the opportunity, because I know millions, thousands and millions of people are watching, and we are going to put that petition forward. And I can guarantee you that in the next few hours, we are going to hit the point that is that it requires. I can guarantee you that. I believe that we haven't got the right publicity, but this program is going to change. Is going to change all that. Now, I want to bring up this question. We've seen the governor of Anambra State in recent time talk about the the release of Mazi Nnamdo Kanu, and the issue of security, and how the release of Mazi Nnamdo Kanu would not change anything when it comes to security in the eastern region. What is your view in Soludo's statement?
Oh, sorry, Mazi. I saw your comment that got me laughing. Um, the the governor of Governor Soludo, in his recent interview that he gave, first of all, we need to understand that the governor is speaking also for himself and for his what I say cohorts, those who he's probably representing and speaking. He's speaking the mind of himself and his group, or speaking the mind of his group. um you would understand, or if you recall, there was insecurity in Southeast for a very, very long time. The marauding of the Fulani headsmen who come into our farms and rape our mothers, murder our people, and nobody was doing anything about it. And like I keep saying, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu continued to lament and worry and press for the security of our people and how they can be protected. So even when the Eastern governors, some of them managed to call the 82 Division, the military in Enugu, and there was no response to them until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his men established the Eastern Security Network, which is called the ESN. And some of these incidents, you don't see much of it, you don't see many of it any longer. But in the recent time, or since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was taken, the target is to destroy IPOB. The target is to destroy Nnamdi Kanu, and they have worked so hard for that to happen. There's something about insecurity. When there is insecurity in a state, it becomes public. And after 48 hours, if that is still in existence, then you need to hold responsible the security forces of that state and the politicians. So these two people work in hand with these whatever they're called, terrorists and people killing. The insecurity itself is being funded, is being managed, is being orchestrated by the politicians and by the security agencies. Because from from what is it called, from Jos to Abuja, from where you don't see any military troops anywhere, you don't see any checkpoint. They're all free, but that is where these terrorists are just taking over and running over their military bases. But you don't see any military checkpoint. So what are they doing in the east? But maybe every 500 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers, there is a checkpoint. Yet you have loads of people being kidnapped. Who is fooling who? These people work with the security agencies. So Soludo, or Governor Soludo, saying that the release of Nnamdi Kanu would not stop the insecurity. Is he confirming or is he affirming? Because it's being a thing of debate that whether to release Nnamdi Kanu would stop the insecurity or would it not. So he said because they will not listen to him. How does he know that they will not listen to him? That is number one. Number two, he also said that these people who are carrying out these unrest are hiding under Nnamdi Kanu. In fact, I need to mention this. One of our brothers, the older brother was taken and they demanded billions. And they said, oh, that they're doing it for, no, oh, no, it's Biafra. That they're doing it for Biafra to come, which is absolutely not true. So Governor Soludo said that they are hiding under the name of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu also said it. People faffing about with his name and the rest of it. Now, if Nnamdi Kanu comes out, that will give you at least a leverage. Will it minimize it? Yes, it will minimize it. Will it stop it completely? No, because there are people who are orchestrating this, and these people are in higher places. So if they are,
Okay, Lolo, there is a question I want to ask you. Very, very short one. Based on the Soludo statement and the issue of insecurity, we just have to. I want to give you ask you a question in that regard again. Does the Eastern governors feel threatened that the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his ability to curb the security situation, to put it under control, do you feel that they are threatened with his influence? Because
of
we also
course,
have to look at
yes,
that,
absolutely.
that aspect.
Absolutely, that is not debatable. That is not debatable. That is what it is. You know, when Nnamdi Kanu says that Ndi Igbo, anyofu and envy and jealousy, that is what is at play here. So the influence of Nnamdi Kanu, but keeping Nnamdi Kanu there is not going to diminish his influence. You are only making it wider, you are extending it internationally. I mean, it's becoming a thing that not just the Biafrans are aware of now or involved. In fact, Margaret, a 92-year-old woman, she was at the hospital and a lot of people were talking about Nnamdi Kanu, pure British people in the hospital discussing Nnamdi Kanu. So keeping him there, you are widening his influence. So keeping him there is not going to change anything. You think when you keep him there, and also keeping him there is diminishing their own relevance because they're making a fool of themselves. They have one of their brothers going through an injustice, and they are actually working for him not to find justice. They're actually working against him. For who? Because whoever you're working for would never like you more than your brother would like you. So to answer your question, yes, it's about his influence because there's never been a thing like this before, and they don't like it. But it
Okay,
won't change.
now we also have a situation where the Eastern governors also, we know that they receive security votes. And because I try to to balance my thought, does it mean that the curbing of insecurity as well could also affect the security vote? So most probably, some of the governors might want to see some level of insecurity because if definitely they are able to put these insecurity issues, arrest this insecurity, their security vote might stop coming because
Absolutely.
you need to have insecurity to have a security vote coming in.
Absolutely. Because they are all corrupt. They have immersed themselves in corruption and can't do anything straight, can never be truthful or honest in anything they do. So They have to create the unrest, they have to create the insecurity, they have to create the mayhem in order for them to thrive.
So it's not just all about uh, um, it's not all about being interested in curbing security, because definitely if they have the interest of securing the eastern region, considering the influence of Mazi Nnamdo Kanu in the eastern region, they would have worked extremely hard to make sure he's released, to also assist them in doing this job of, of securing the land.
Absolutely. You would think that. But because these leaders, they lack vision, and I mean, as a leader, who what makes you a leader? Why are you a leader? Because you're leading people. And these people, what do you have in store for them? You're out to lead. They need to understand what it takes to be a leader. For you to be a leader, you've become selfless. You have become a servant. You've become you've become an errand boy. You run around for the safety of your people. You run around for what is one of the what is it called? One of the four eyes of leadership keys. They have this individualized consideration that they need to incorporate, and the idealized influence. And what was the other one? The inspirational motivation and intellectual stimulation. These leaders have no clue what it is to lead. So when they look at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they wonder, there's never been a thing like this. How come? They do not understand the principle of legacy. They don't understand the principle of leadership. They do not understand the principle of self-preservation, because that is what leadership is about. When you are leading people, you are leading not just you leading for their lives, because when you're a leader, for example, you're leading for 4 years, or you're leading for 5 years, or 8 years, or 10 years. Whatever you carry out determines some certain outcome in some people's lives. So when you're a leader, you become the creator of some of the people's future. You become the marker. You mark. There are some people that you leave in indelible marks on their lives, maybe on their education, or some if they reform their educational system and make it as free as it should be, and reform their syllabus and put in history, and a lot of people's lives will be changed. If they reform securities and the rest of it, making sure that healthcare is accessible and at least up to a standard that a human requires, things will change. Some people's lives will change. But because they're horrible, they don't understand what it is to be a leader. They have no clue the consciousness they require to be a leader. I recall the Putin's speech this year when he was re-inaugurated, and I was at the car dealers trying to fix my car, and I was listening to what he was saying. He was talking about his people. He talks about his people. Look at Trump. Trump is a self-preserver. He's always protecting his territory. And you look at the lions, and I've always loved lions and never really gone into studying their traits, but I know about their pride. The lioness go out to do hunting and the rest of it. Even the lion takes the biggest, about the lion's share, what we know about. It doesn't
And but
mean
even when you look at the operation of the lions, they even work in collaboration. They
they work.
work in
Yes, they work in
collaboration.
collaboration. And when
You
the women
with
go hunting, what is it that the male lion does when they
while
do
while
in the
while
security?
other animals are always on the run. But there is this video that I saw recently when the bulls charged together against the lion, and the lions ran away. The video
Because
is,
they came as a herd, because they came as, oh, I've seen that video. They ran. That is one thing with unity. And I always say this, there is something about unity. And if I'm finishing this, the lions, the male lions, when the lionesses are hunting for food, what are the male ones doing? They are marking the territory. They are protecting the territory. You can't come into the pride. They are protecting. So these leaders don't understand that what it takes to be a leader. And as a man, when we keep saying, oh, the leadership lies on the man in the home, it comes with a lot. It comes with love. These politicians are greedy. They have absolutely no clue what it is to have the interest of someone at heart. I mean, Nnamdo Kanu could have just stayed in the UK and do whatever and live his life and as he likes it. But each time he sees the suffering of the people, you see that pain. You see that when he breathes down and is in pain, you see all of that. And same goes with me when I see people, and I wish I could just close my eyes and things would change. So these leaders they have no clue it's just about their pocket. I saw a video of one of the politicians. I can't remember. They were breaking down the pillar in his sitting room and they were bringing out bags of money. And that was when I started to think about the mental state of these people. When someone is wicked, when someone is just wicked and good in every other areas of life, you can begin to separate their wickedness. And, if they have principles, you can sometimes, when someone is too principled, it can be, equaled to being wicked. So is being able to separate all of these traits. But these politicians in Igbo land, they are wicked. They're not just wicked, they are greedy. And they're foolish. These three traits they are the most dangerous traits you can find in one entity. When one person is composed of these three traits, you are in trouble. So they need to go for leadership. It does my head in because there is no continuous improvement. There is no continued learning. They just manage.
I think that the reality is that when you are not voted into office by the people, there is no way you can have the interest of the people at heart. So that is the truth of the matter.
Even when they're voted in, these people,
they are not. They are none of them. When you look at the electoral system in Nigeria, none of them goes into office. The few that were actually voted by the people, we've seen the good work they are doing. So that already tells you the story. That tells you what makes it different when you actually come into office as a governor, as an office holder, voted, because the people knows who love them. The people know. But unfortunately, what we see is a situation where people find their way into office through manipulations, through court judgment and things like that. You do not expect them to lead or govern the people. Well, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll start taking calls. We'll be taking break. When we're back.
Hey! The bricks! Oh na 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 na. Watch it out. Watch me far away. See me far away, Shabada. Tell me what you saw. I will show you what I have. Because I have myself. Oh, them things say na defense. Make you watch my back. Now wait till you they see. Yeah, unless you have the sense. So go learn to pretend. Do not run away. Kind of over than you. That is why I say. That is why I say. That is why I thought. That is why I say. That is why I say. That is why I know. no delay. Let them know. No say una eyes clear about una way. Watch out. Many things they happen in that country you dey. So some people trouble upon people every day. Even when you dey, you go talk say you know dey. I need to understand why this one about. I need to understand why the truth apart. The promise that we got and nationalize. The promise we will live and no complaint. Watch me far away. Watch me far away. See me far away. See me far away. Tell me what you saw. I will show you what I have. Because I have myself. Oh, then think say na defense. Oh, make you watch my back. Now wait till you they see. Yeah, unless you have the sense. Oh, you go like to pretend. Oh, do not run away. Kind of over than you. That is why I say. That is why I say. That is why I talk. That is why I say. That is why I say. That is why I know. Samada, ta ta ta, kick Kanu, Bumba. See, I come back again to tell people say, now here we dey. We don't come to stay. I say no retreat, no surrender. We're living big, but no arrange. Look at the soldiers killing innocent Biafrans every day. Look at Islam is killing innocent Christians every day. It's depending me, yo. It's depending me, yo. It's depending me, yo. Chukwoki kogyama, materanya senye maka, materanya senye maka. I know ginaka, che. That is why I say. That is why I talk. That is why I know. That is why I say. That is why I talk. That is why I know.
Thank you very much. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is an interactive program with Lolo Uchechi Kanu on Biafran Television Europe, and we're back on our short break, and we are opening the line. The number on the screen that will be on the screen in the shortest possible time will be +39 388 177 9665 +39 388 177 9665. Come forward with your question, come forward with your comment, and also come forward with whatever you have to say. Lolo is here to respond to some of your questions and also some of your compliments. I don't want to hear any negativity on this program, because I know that a lot of people would want to try to make negative comments or call into ask questions that are not relevant. We want to respond to relevant questions, because we've seen in recent time how the mind of our people have been manipulated in a way, yes, to some extent that you just see people coming out to make accusations, to make insults here and there, without any founding,
Yeah,
any
Mazi.
record.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not just manipulation. I mean, you know, in a group of people, you have people who are intelligent, you have people who are not intelligent, and then in the middle, you have people who are halfway there, and those are quite the dangerous ones as well. And then the most dangerous ones are the ones who are not. When I say intelligent, it doesn't mean you have to be schooled or go to school or acquire the Western.
Ability to reason.
The ability to reason and analyze things is what separates us from being a human and being even animals. They do their stuff in their kingdom. They know in their hierarchy of things. It goes that way. They don't need to. You don't need to tell them. They just know what to do. They just carry on and do it. So that's why sometimes I don't agree with Onyindu about Nigeria being a zoo, because it's not. The zoos are ostensibly just kind of separated each animal in its kingdom, and so some of
I think
these
the zoo. I
people,
think the zoo is even a better place, if you
of
ask
course,
me.
because yeah, when you visit a zoo, you can see all the animals in their cage and doing their stuff, coming out.
And even when you look at the animals, you see how the leadership within the hierarchies offer leadership to, to the lower animals, how they
Mhm.
manage,
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
this
saying. For
this
example, in
leadership
the
that these animals offer to the other lower animals are even better quality than some of the leadership that is being offered in the zoo. We have the first caller. Hello, caller. Good evening and welcome to the program. Introduce yourself,
All
please,
right.
and tell us where you're calling.
Thank you. Thank you, Mazi Patrick. Can you hear me sound and clear?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mazi Patrick. I salute you, Lolu Sheshidia, the wife of the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. I am Mazo Kinu Kichuku, the general. I want to thank every great people of Biafra and Lolu Sheshidia. I really want to thank you on this vote of confidence that you have shown to our people, because there is a lot of things going on and a lot of allegation lay on this leadership of this movement led by Mazi Chike Doziem, the man in charge on absence of Mazi Nnamdo Kanu. But I want to ask this question because we have to understand what is going on. I want to ask you, Lord Lusheshidia, if our leader is aware that the siblings, his brothers and sisters, sued IPOB Germany to court. And the second one is this: since Aloye Jimako have taken over the lead counsel, of course, he denied to being a lead counsel, but we have to call him the lead counsel of Mazi Nnamdo Kanu case as it stands today. Since Aloye Jimako have been taken over, we haven't heard any update on Mazi Nnamdo Kanu case. And we should also understand that our people are blind today because there is no information. We don't even know what is going on again about Mazi Nnamdo Kanu case. There is no court update. There is no update on Aloye Jimako Twitter or any platform that is using. And I want you to tell us what is going on Mazi Nnamdo Kanu court case, because I know that maybe leadership, person like Mazi Chike Dozie, he may have an idea, but they have to say things based on the lead counsel. They can't just come out and begin to give our people update, and tomorrow they are going to change it. As it stands today, we don't know what is going on Mazi Nnamdo Kanu court case. Please, I want you to, give us update on that, and what are we going to expect? Thank you very much, Ushechi dear.
Lolo, if there are certain questions you wouldn't want to answer, you are not obliged to take, because I know that there are certain questions that might not be necessary for you to answer in this program.
at the moment.
Yes, at this moment. So you can pick the ones you feel convenient, the one you feel important, and respond to them. And the one you feel not important, that at the moment you cannot give out information, you are absolutely not obliged to respond.
Of course. Thank you very much, Mazi. To Mazi, the voice is very familiar, but I keep missing out the name. I remember that I know the voice. I can recognize that voice anywhere. He's asked me a question, and I was on Radio Biafra. Yes, so I'm trying to remember the name. I think it's
It's
Mazi.
Biafran child.
Mazi Okenna, yes?
Yeah, the Biafran child, yes.
So, Mazi Okenna, thank you very much, and compliments of the season to you and your family and other Biafrans who are listening. Um, I did say something on one of my interviews. I did say that it is imperative that we wait for Onyendu. Now, why I'm going to say this is because even before all the public noise and disagreement, because I don't see any reason why a house, people have issues, even siblings do fight and I mean, get into a very deep, heated argument and disagreement, and they usually will settle it. So, having said that, I did say that I would like it. I would, had I been listened to, Mazi, had I been listened to, had everyone listened to me initially when I started explaining and pleading and throwing the importance of unity and what the consequences of not adhering to that suggestion, because an advice rather, it was not an authoritative command or anything. Perhaps had I held any position, maybe I would have used my office to command. But I pleaded and I explained the importance of unity. That once Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is taken, this is what the enemy's plan for us is. You need to understand your enemy. I mean, one of the reasons I don't listen to when Mazi he came asked me a question about those who throw me and say nonsense, they are not intelligent enough. So I where the frequency that I operate from, I'm not speaking big or anything, but that is unfortunately that's what it is. I can't come down to their level to begin to reason like them. So I reason here, and it's up to you to come there.
And
But
Lolo, and also considering the responsibility before you, you have to make your choices based on priorities. Because
absolutely,
most of the time,
I'm busy. I'm on calls. I'm on meetings. I have to meet up, and
you know,
whenever it's time to,
so
the lawyers.
you
The,
have to choose if you have to take up the challenges of the trolls, or you have to take up the challenges that actually deals directly with the detention
with
of
my
your husband. This is the
situation,
paramount challenge,
absolutely.
and
So
yes,
every other day, I'm seeking feedback from Onyemdu, because
yes.
anytime lawyers want to go to him, so I need to send a message. I want a feedback from him, and before I sent out the, what is it called, the Merry Christmas message that is coming from the household of Nnamdi Kanu, I had to send the message. I had to ask him first. I'm not someone who just threw caution to the wind. I'm a very optimistic person. But if you don't understand me, you would think I'm a pessimist. I'm not. I'm a cautious optimist. I believe in good things happening, but I also believe in having plans in place should my plans go awry.
So,
So
Lolo, we have another call.
let me
Sorry,
finish. Let me
sorry,
finish with
sorry.
Mazi. Okay, now please.
Okay, yes, go
So
ahead, go
I
ahead.
did. I sang this as a song. I pleaded. I sent this out as a plea, and I sent it also as a warning of the importance of unity for these very distortions in squabbles. We didn't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. The singular person who is the top, I mean, he's the tree, and all other other branches are just attached to him. You can't say you're on your own, you're picking your tent from here, you're going somewhere. Or is that indiscipline that I speak of? So, in the absence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a lot of things, because people are not disciplined, people are doing what they're doing for several reasons. But if logic is in place and emotion was taken out of the equation, we wouldn't be here. So, to answer Mazi Okenna's question, Onyendu is aware of the squabbles, but this is something he's promised to deal with, because you can expect him to deal with this from where he is. Do you know what it is for you to be incarcerated for? Any of these people, have they been incarcerated? Not incarceration in Europe or even at a burger and cheese. Yeah, I'm talking about proper incarceration in Nigeria. So some of these people, they've not been there. They don't understand what he's going through because he's a strong man. He stands firm. Anyone no, anyone be free. They not in bondage.
Yeah, of course, because we and it's because of we are enjoying freedom. That is why we are creating problem.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
let's see.
So for the court case, we are yet to get a date, and when that happens, the league council would explain that, and I think this also would kind of improve. This is 2025. We're going into 2025, so we're going into change, and we're going into dealing with our problems, facing it head on, and making sure that we get a change to it. So all of this is we're going into 2025. So things will change. There will be updates. Biafrans are, they're thirsty for news of Nnamdo Kanu, how he's firing and whatever. So there's been a little bit of lag in that, but that would improve. That would change. Ndewo Mazi.
Beautiful. We have another caller. Hello, caller. Your name and where you're calling from, please. Your name and where you're calling from. Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
My name is, I can hear you very well. My name is Geraldine, Mrs. Geraldine Onyolo. I'm calling from Germany. So, I have a question to ask. Lolo, can you hear me very well?
Go ahead. She's hearing
Yes, I
you.
can hear you.
Okay, yeah. To my own understanding, with what I know right now, apart from Britain being fully responsible, I think they have a role to play, or they played a big role to what happened to our leader, right? Now, the Eastern governors are also part of this problem Mazi is facing today. So my question is this. I don't understand what is happening, no update from the courts, just like the first caller, mentioned. So as a common or an average Biafran, what do you think we do? Because the year is almost gone. This 2025, what do we do? What do we do? How do we help? How do we come in? Biafrans all over the world. The petition you mentioned earlier, honestly, I don't think it could also be that petition was manipulated, because I'm hearing it for the first time. I've been trying my possible best to sign in. I could not. So what do we do? Don't you think there's a kind of foul play or what? Thank you very much.
Thank you, my sister Geraldine. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, caller.
So I think there are three. I've picked up three things I need to address. So first of all, there is a foul play, of course. If I allude a little bit to the fact that, the change.org did say they would air the petition, they will not push it on their platforms. And I remember just checking, and they didn't do that because we earned people go to sign the petition, and it would ask them to support change.org, and some people will pay. I think Mazi Patrick, maybe you paid something as well, and even Mazi Dozien paid something, to help them. So a lot of people actually pay because of the love they have for Mazi and Nnamdo Kanu. And I don't know what to say about that manipulation, but from also the publication part of it, and wider publication or wider information hasn't actually been decimated for people to pick it up. But I believe that after this very interview, that there will be an improvement for this very situation to be discussed at the parliament. So going to the second point that you made, of course, British government was very much aware. If you recall, Once Mazi Nnamdi appeared in court, you recall that Boris Johnson brought this kidnapper, what is his name? The kingpin kidnapper. Buhari is known to be he's a kidnapper. That is his job. He likes to kidnap people. So he was called. He came to the UK, and the then Kenyan what was his name also came, and they held a meeting. And Boris had sent out calls, and in some of the reports that we got, they refused to give us exactly the conversation, the detailed conversation that these three leaders held. So the British government, they are very much involved. And that is why I keep saying, which would bring me to your third point, what we can do. We are a peculiar people. There is something about us that must not emerge. So if you recall during the war and the rest of it, they are afraid of the another Japan or whatever they don't want us. You see our children not being in four walls of the university, and they're building things beyond your imagination. Even the professors in schools can't even build that from even their theory books. They can't do that. So there is a target against us. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being our face and voice is what they're trying to quench, is what they're trying to stop. And our people are helping them. Who are the people helping them? Not the poor masses who Nnamdi Kanu is actually fighting for. The people, the elite, the people who are supposed to join hands are running away from doing what they. I want to address something. Someone said something. He said, "You people insult the politicians, and now you're calling them to help and ask for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release." We are asking them for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release because they have involved themselves. If they remove themselves from this very situation, we will not ask for them. If they remove themselves, we can deal with our situation. So if they don't want to call for his release, they should stop stopping his release because they are sitting on it. They should remove themselves. And it will happen organically. So what we can do as Biafrans is to come together as one. You cannot say, I love Nnamdi Kanu. Some people don't have to be IPOB members. You don't have to be. I mean, some people are not, but they support what IPOB. They support Nnamdi Kanu. They stand for him, but they're not IPOB members. So those who are not IPOB members can carry on supporting the way they have supported in the past. Then those who want to join under the umbrella, because you need to stand under the umbrella. Because had it been just Nnamdi Kanu is just one person, is an entity, but he's come out. He's a person representing the multitude of this clan, of these people. So as Biafrans, we need to come together, join the IPOB umbrella, and hit every leader in our several locations where we live. If this petition hits 10K, it will be discussed in Parliament, in the UK Parliament. Don't forget that the UK government is busy becoming, like I said earlier, Mazi, they are removing themselves from the play that they used to play in the world arena. So because they support evil, and in their hypocrisy, they try to hide themselves from the reality of things. And what they, you know how they do, are you okay? Yeah, I'm not joking, you okay? You know, and I say, are you okay? You okay? How much are you not okay? So that is what they do. They're hypocrites. And we need to face them head on. And how do we do that? We are going by this as well. We've been to the court, and that didn't work as well, because as a government, they have their own say. You can't force them to do so. You go by the law that they have. They are the one that enacted the law. So by their law, we couldn't push their hands. Yes. So that's number one. Number two, they keep telling you, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what happened, but they can actually do something. What can they do? Now, we've gone to the House of Commons, which was one of the results of people complaining and writing and saying that we have UK citizens who are held arbitrarily in other countries. Some are held hostages. There's one of them who owned a radio station and he was taken. I think he's in China. I think it's the Jimmy guy, and I think his petition hit 10K, and it was discussed in the parliament. And now you have people, you have UK citizens in China, in Egypt, and what is the problem? The UK government, how it has set up itself, it's one of the useless countries that do not fight for their citizens. So you know how Americans would say, "Oh, if you have an American citizen, you can't stay more than 24 hours or 48 hours. They will come." It's because they have created these special envoys. Even Ireland has it, Switzerland, Australia, they have it. UK does not have it. So what UK has is just the consulars who they would delegate to. Just as Mazi Nnamdo Kanu is, you have. I do get a report every 8 weeks, which annoys me because the report they give me is like a robotic report. They just say, "Oh, we saw him. He said this, and when he said this person said that." What can you do? When I was very upset about Mazi Nnamdo Kanu's health, they said to me, "Oh, they can only speak to the DSS. They can't really do anything. They can't bring in any." I said, "Okay." And we have questions that we've asked them, and this is one of the questions that will be thrown at the UK Parliament. In fact, God willing, and if God is helpful, I need to be present there. And this question will be asked. There is a constitution where Nigeria can't trial Nnamdi Kanu because they say whatever he committed. So having a radio station was done in UK. So if you recall, the last time Oyendo was in court, the Nigerian government took out the location. How can you then trial someone, accuse someone of committing a crime? Where was the crime committed? You've taken out the location. So you can see via court, there is no, they have nothing against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There is no case here. But being a government, we know what a government means. We know how they play, and we know how they dance, and we know how they react and how they push. So one of the reasons they have sat on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release is to tag IPOB, a terrorist organization, to tag ESN, a terrorism, because they know that these are the tensile strength of Nnamdi Kanu. So when these are destroyed, then Nnamdi Kanu. And they have forgotten that it's not about Nnamdi Kanu, it's about the people that he represents. So for us as a people, 2025 will push to our several leaders in several locations that we are on. So we are going to, in fact, Mazi Edoziem would announce something. The women, I'm trying to organize something for the women 2025. So Mazi Edoziem would do that. It's not something I'm here to say. We are going to push further, and our consciousness will be reignited. We need to rekindle our consciousness in order to understand and tap into the warfare that we're in. We think is political PDP versus ADC or APC. It's not. It's far greater than what people can imagine. So I think that's.
Thank you, Lord.
I said would be the lead council in 2025, because I'm going to send a message across to Nnamdo, because the update that Biafrans need, they no longer get it, and that has to change. So there will be more updates come 2025, and there's a court case, but I don't think it's like a big one very soon. But the dates will have to be explained by the lead council.
Thank you, Lolo. Thank you very much for that response. Quite long response, because sometimes you have to take long to explain to our people for them to really understand. I try as much as possible to see how we can make it brief so that we'll be able to entertain more calls, because there are lots and lots and lots and lots of calls coming in. Hello, caller from the US.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. Udo Derege, Dekwara Lolo.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mazi.
Thank you. Kabaruku Bende. Kabaruku Bende, Chebegi, Chebekwedigi, and Chebe, everybody in IPOB before this struggle. So my concern is on the legal representation. There seems to be a double standard in the legal representation. So Is he aware of such double standard? And if he's aware, what is he doing to change that? Because in the rule of law, you cannot defend your client and be a friend to the enemy of your client. That is number one. Number two is, I wouldn't like for IPOB to give too much information. Because if you give too much information, then you are creating a loophole for enemies to attack you. So that's just my question. I would like for you to answer so that other people will call.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much, caller from USA.
Okay, thank you, Mazi. On the legal front, I think that's what we have kind of dealt with or answered to about 3 times now. Onyendu hears things, but you know how he is. He needs to understand and be certain of what it is he's hearing. So I will leave it at that. We need to understand that this man does not have the liberty. He can't see, there are loads of things. People log on social media and then they see a lot of things and say a lot of things. Does not have is not privy to such information, or not privy to such, does not have access to such information. So whatever it is that we are hoping that he would hear, probably would hear from someone, but not as deep as you would want him to know about it. And sometimes it's something that he would see differently from how you see it. So that's another thing. And Onyendu is certain of what he's doing. And in regards to his representative working with the Nigerian government, that is something that has to also be proven in real time, in time to come. So it's not something that I don't know about it, can't, don't discuss it, not sure. And like I've said earlier in the past, I do things in a certain way. If I'm seeking something or if I'm in a place, and how I want, I'm not an authoritarian, but if how I want something to be, always from a good place anyway. If it's not that way, I remove myself from there, or I remove that person, because one must happen out of 2 things. So to answer your question, Onyendu hears things, but he needs to be certain that it's not just things that he's hearing. We need to do things with evidence and certainty, and not by emotions or by hearsay. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much, Lola. We have a caller from the USA again. Caller from US.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Mazi, Ikem, and Lola. Thank you so much. You're such an inspiration, and I keep saying that. And I thank God for your strength. I thank God for the ability and the enablement that He has given you. It's not an easy place to be, actually, but when I look at you, I look at your tenacity. I just draw strength from you, and we will keep praying for you, for God to keep you and the children. So now, coming to the issue of the petition, I personally believe that something is wrong somewhere. I don't think that our people genuinely didn't want to sign that petition, because I know a lot of the people actually love Mazi Nnamdo Kanu so much. So there's something that they are not telling us about that petition. Are they holding it back? Are they actually intentionally not letting our people sign onto that petition, something is not right. That's one. The second thing is, why is Britain not doing more? But when it comes to their citizen, they try to present themselves as the gurus when it comes to human rights. But this issue actually shown that that's not the truth. Because I think what the Brits are doing actually shows them as hypocrites. Because I don't understand why do we really need to sign petitions for them to stand up and ask for the well-being of their citizen that is going through a lot in the hands of another government? That don't make no sense to me as far as I'm concerned. Then now my question to you, Lolo, is this. What exactly is the MP that's representing Mazi Kanu, your constituency? What is he or she doing? Why is she or he not taking this up? Because that's the reason why they represent that constituency. Why are they not taking this up and pushing for the Lords to do something about their own citizen? Because it does not make sense. So that's my question, and I just pray that God will continue to keep you on, like I said before. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kola. But Lola, can you just give me a moment? Because I see a lot of people calling in and they are saying that the British are not doing anything about the freedom of Mazi Nnamdo Kanu. They are not working to make sure that Mazi Nnamdo Kanu is released from detention. And sometimes I wonder if these people have forgotten the interest of Britain in Nigeria. That that can obviously stand against the interest of Britain in Nigeria by trying to get his people out of Nigeria. So I don't know. I can't figure it out. We understand that Britain might have other citizens detained somewhere else and things like that, like you said earlier. But the issue of Mazi Kanu is completely different. We know the stand of Britain when it comes to Nigeria, and you do not come to interfere with that interest, and you expect them to protect your right, So our people need to come to terms with this reality that Britain is not the one that is going to free Mazi Nnamdo Kanu, because Mazi Nnamdo Kanu stands against the interests of Britain. The Britain we are talking about is benefiting from the resources of the Biafran people, and they can only do that when Nigeria is in this form of unity that they are enjoying today, in their own understanding. Because if eventually Biafra gets free, Biafra can also give Britain those things they are getting, though not in the same condition, though I can guarantee that.
Of course.
But it doesn't still stop, not just Britain, but we'll be there for the world. We'll be there to contribute in so many ways to global peace and interest. But the truth of the matter is that the Nigerian politicians are convincing the British that if Biafrans go, that is going to go against their benefit, which is not true. And these are the things we need to let Britain understand, that Biafra separating from Nigeria is not going to it's not going to affect our business interest. It's not going to affect whatever benefit they are getting. It might not be the way they are getting it from Nigeria on a platter of gold.
Because they're quite free.
But certainly, it's not going to affect them, in any way. So you can go ahead and respond to our sister from the US.
Okay, thank you. I think I recognize that voice. I can't remember her name. She spoke on the platform, the ESN fundraising, the Americans ESN fundraising. Thank you very much, my sister. And I say, you say to your prayers. Mazi Patrick has practically explained why the UK government is doing what they're doing. If you what's this book? I can't remember the name now. But if you read some certain kind of books on espionage and countries, or read on wars, and you see how countries can actually send out one of their own to go to another country to cause, just to rile to rile up something. So this is in their psychological warfare. It's in their interest, their trade interest as well. You have some people who deal in ammunitions and stuff. They go somewhere and they start a war. They create things and start a war just so they can sell their arms. Now, Mazi Nnamdo has for long spoken about the evil that the British government has meted upon our people. You don't think that there's something that happened when he was coming? There was this day he was arriving, and one of them, it's not something I'll say here, but he shook his hand and said something and asked him a question. And you just said, no, 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 we are okay. And he said, okay, if you need us, so I'll keep that aside, because it's not everything you say to our people, even though some don't really know what you're saying. But having said that, the British government, other people, yeah, but you should understand. So I keep saying this, that our case is very peculiar. Everybody knows that. There is something about Biafrans not becoming a nation, or Biafra not becoming a nation. There is something about that. There's something peculiar about us, and we must not emerge as a nation. That is what they are fighting against. And Mazi Nnamdo has spoken out for years against their wickedness and hypocrisy against our people. And as Mazi Kim said, they're intelligent enough to know that they can go into trade or whatever with Biafrans if we no longer in Nigeria. And as you rightly said, my sister, the UK governments are the forebears of human rights. But unfortunately, you can see that they are beginning to peter out, like I said, from the global field where they were once known. You can see they're not, if you're calling power players now, UK is there, but they're not as visible as they used to be. But what are they? They've gone underground to burrow underground and commit their disasters as usual. So I think that's all I can remember from your question. I don't know if I'm missing something.
She talked about the petition, and I think we
You said
have
that as
to.
well about,
Yes.
yes. So I think further publication, we push it out. Of course, there's always a number play of number games, and I don't think that he's gotten the proper publication that he needs, or the wider um, engagement that we need to get out of it. But I hope to see a change from here, and then let's see why. And then she talked about MP. Okay, I remember that one now. So the MP of our constituent has retired and has been replaced by Imieti. She's reaching back, but not said anything in the parliament, because things don't, which would also take me to some people saying, 2 years after, 1 year after, 3 years after, you're doing these things are done step by step. There are processes. Now we are doing a petition. Why are we doing a petition? Because we've done this, that. We've done that. We went to the House of Commons because we've done that. We're writing to some of the people. We went to UN. So these are the things that we need to do. So I remember a lady from the US. I don't want to call her name so she doesn't go crying again. And she said, "Oh, you need to come to social media. You need to behave like a mad woman." And I said, really? I mean, you expect me to switch on my camera and cry to my oppressor and beg them? There are even you can see Mazi Nnamdo lecturing Nigerian judges and magistrates of their law. They don't even know their constitution. So you expect me to switch on my camera and start crying? This is not a political case. It's not PDP versus APC or
No,
Nnamdi.
but no, you know that our people love entertainment. They need you to also bring that angle of entertainment, because that is what they give them. That is what they feed them with.
The same
Uh,
people would say, "Oh, why is she crying?" What about that shit? So this is a mental warfare. We have some physical parts to it. We have some spiritual parts to it. But you have to understand how your oppressor thinks and why they're doing what they're doing, and then you begin to work along that line. So we went to court here. We went to court in Nigeria. So we're doing, and the UN, and have you asked yourself a question? This has just come to my head now because we held this meeting with Reprieve, so the organization who actually, a lot of things are happening in the background. People are writing, NGOs are writing for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Have you asked yourself a question about the Amnesty International? Do you know what is going on? Do you know what has happened? Do you know why Amnesty International is no longer on about? If you recall, some years ago, they were on our case. They were reporting and throwing reports and analyzing what is going on. Just as the Inter Society has released their own report and data, how many of our people are being killed and all of that, seeking for other international human rights organizations to join. Have you asked yourself a question why Amnesty International has withdrawn all of a sudden? I don't think I don't think many people are aware of that, or have they not noticed?
Lolo, somebody on this comment section said, Lolo, on your own, cry for release of your husband in public. Let them see maybe their miracle. You see, Lolo, you see the mentality of our people.
I need to cry for his
Yes,
release.
our people believe,
And you think, and you
yes,
think,
our
and you,
people believe that the world revolves around emotion.
mm,
Unfortunately, the world does not really resolve around.
unfortunately, I'm not an emo. I'm a woman. Yeah, like people, you can.
Nobody's
But I'm not an
at the end
emotional
of the
person.
day,
It doesn't mean that
it's
I
not
don't.
even it's not
It
even
doesn't
going to
mean
make
that I
any
don't cry.
sense.
It does not mean that I don't cry. It does not mean, but I have taken it in the form that I know should work. I have taken it because it's not you. How long would you cry? I have a video with the APPG. They have my video where I have spoken about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the effect and impact of his incarceration on the family. You think they don't know? You think the British government does not know the right to family that I have, that his kids have, need of their father? So this is it's not about emotion. It's not about emotion. It's about where we are. It's about the kind of fight. There are things you would do if there are some people that when you cry to them, they get upset. I have this boss at some point, like before I went to the university, that when you cry, he said, "Oh, because you cried out." Some people don't want you to cry, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that people fight their wars differently. So you need to understand your war. You need to understand who you're fighting. Okay. So if myself and Nnamdi Kanu, if we agreed and knew that, oh, it's about me, once I cry, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released, you need to go back to school. You need
No,
to go.
the thing is,
You
our
need to
people does not really
not the person
understand.
not to the person. I think that sounded a bit sarcastic. So I don't think that person is serious. I think the person is just being playful. But if that person is not playful, um you need to go back to school. You need to go and read on the Biafran War. You need to go and read about the the business that Nigeria was before the British changed it into Nigeria. You need to go and understand this, and you need to go and understand all the events that have taken place up until this moment. I was taking Nnamdi Kanu was taking when I was pregnant with Nnamdi Kim. I gave my usual because I know what the war is and I know how it is fought. So, and I understand, like Mazi would say, he would say, "Iman de banye, he say, "Hano di shin ha chere chere na," and they want you to come out and tell them everything. Like they even when you come out to say everything, they still don't even understand it. So that is not, it's taking step by step. So Harriet Hammond the first time Onyende was taken, she was up. When I wrote to her, she responded, and the rest of it. And then when Mazi Nnamdo Kanu was taken the second time, now I'm talking to our sister from the US, and I'm responding to her question about our MP. She did not respond to my emails. And I'll say something. You remember also that I wrote to the Bishop of Canterbury, the Bishop of Canterbury here in the UK. What is going on in the background is not what I'm coming here to say. But like I said, I'm writing a book, and all of this would be there. By then, Mazi Nnamdo Kanu would have been released, and then you will understand a few things. But the current MP of our constituency has written to the parliament, and she hasn't gotten a response yet. They don't wear their slippers or shoe and call, are you there? I'm coming by 4 p.m. and then they appear. No, it doesn't happen like that. They write and then they get a response and they move it up from there. And these things, they take time. You can see that people just went on holidays. Those carrying it at Christmas and Yuletide. That has happened. So, but
That's
that's
lots and lots of bureaucracy.
yes, and that's also what the petition is also pushing. So with the petition, this is one of the steps to that taking place, where this will be discussed in the parliament.
Thank you very much, Lola. I think we have another caller. I don't want to exhaust you. We'll be rounding up very soon. You've taken series of questions and lots of questions.
Sorry, there's our brother called Mazi Austin Chika Austin.
Okay.
One of our sisters. She sends me his links. She sends me his not links, what's it called? She sends me his videos on international politics. So you need to always go to listen to him to understand how this geopolitical things, how it works, how these international, how they think, how they play games. That I have a book and I will recommend it for people to read, The Art of Strategy. You need to understand how governments they play. Okay, and then you understand that it's not something you just throw like that. You need to also be as strategic as they are to match them. And IPOB is doing a good job. I must tell you that in matching them.
Thank you very much, Lola. I receive series of comments on the comment section. People complain that I'm interrupting you. If I'm interrupting you, I really have to apologize for that. But I try to see how we can make it, as brief as possible, because if we continue to go in length, we might end up not rounding up this program. But notwithstanding, we have another caller from the US. Hello, caller. No, not from the US. I think the number is from Biafra land. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Can you hear me? I think he's off. He's off. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. Are you there? Okay, Uchechukwu, welcome to the program.
I can hear you. Okay. I can hear you, Mazi. Yeah, I'm there. I can hear you very well.
Okay, go ahead and.
Thank you so much.
You have just, Uchechukwu, you have just 2 minutes, please.
Okay. Achọrọ m ikele Lolo. Achọrọ m isi ya ka Chukwu gọzie ya. Already she's a blessed woman. Ka Chineke gọzie gị too. Yeah, I don't have question for her anyway. I don't have any question to ask her. But I want to make a request. This request, I'm directing it to our media warriors. They are trying, but they should put more effort. Like this signing of something, petition, free Mazi Nnamdo Kanu. Yeah, they're supposed to, come up, do the publicity very well so that people will be aware. Most of us are not aware, despite we come on social media and thereabout. Secondly, I want to say it to the hearing of people all over the world. Our Nnamdo is a blessed human being. May God bless him. I called him anointed person, anointed one, a prophet. I dare anyone to touch him. May God bless our Hindu. I'm saying it. He should be freed. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be freed. Britain should release Nnamdi Kanu, a prisoner of conscience. Mazi, thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. Lola. Over
Mazi, no, of course, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is blessed. One of the things that we're also pushing is to get the Amnesty International to declare Mazi Nnamdi. He's already a prisoner of conscience, but to make it official, done by the Amnesty International. I think Mazi didn't ask a question. Mazi just made statements.
Yeah, he just made a comment and one or two admonitions here and there. So as for the petition, sometimes when you see petitions like this, you just conclude that the world have seen it. And we shouldn't also forget that most of the things we are doing in regards to the activities of IPOB, the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is also somehow suppressed in the media, and that's the reason we have to push harder. And I'm confirming that because a lot of people have also dropped it on the comment section that they believe that petition is being shadowed in a way. But I believe that from henceforth we have to do more. We are going to put the links all over the place. We're going to put that on my profile. We are going to share it on all profiles. We're going to share them on all WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups. We are going to do that from henceforth. We are going to continue to push until because I know that Biafrans, anything that has to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, nobody takes it for granted. So I believe that on that one, I can hit my chest and tell you that people are not stupid. Maybe on other issues, I cannot vouch, but on this one, as long as it has to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they are always, they even fight each other because of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because everybody want to have the best portion of him, So we just have to push this. We have to push this petition so that it can go through. Hello, caller. Welcome to the program.
Hello, good evening, Mazi.
Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Obinna. I'm calling from Lyon, France.
You're welcome, Obinna. You have 2 minutes.
In fact, you are doing a great job. I say, may bless you. Lolo, you are formidable. You are special. I say, may and our ancestors continue to protect you and your family.
You see?
I promise you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released soon. He's a prophet.
Absolutely.
And no human can touch him. And this is why he was born. So I have confidence. I have confidence that whatever he's looking for, he will get it. So I want to encourage you. We are standing with you. We are standing with you.
Thank you.
We believe that this time around, Biafra is here to stay.
Absolutely.
What God has written, he has written. And no man can stop it.
Thank you very much.
I just have one question to ask. I said, like 2017, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was released. So what is different now? Why is this so difficult this time around? Is that something that we are not doing? Because in 2017, he was released. Then this time around, is it the legal system or what? Because even when Ezokomi and Ejiofor was there, things was moving normal. But this time, a lawyer, Ejimako, comes in. There is a lot of confusion. I don't know. This is my question.
Let me respond to that question. We don't have to bore Lolo with so many. Lolo, you might come in because he made a comparison of 2017 and now.
Okay.
It's very, very important that our people understand that a lot have changed. A lot a lot have changed between 2017 and 2023, no, 2021, when he was
Yes.
abducted in Kenya, and now. For the fact that Mazi Nnamdo Kanu have remained resolute in his quest for Biafra is a concern. And when he was arrested in 2017, it was quite difficult, but the Nigerian government didn't understand how determined. They didn't understand how determined he was. They thought he was joking. Then they released him and the Operation Python dance, another form of a way to also intimidate him. Because what they thought was, let them carry the Operation Python dance to assassinate him. That assassination plan didn't go through. And they felt that now that he has left Nigeria, that they are going to find peace. At least he's no longer on the ground. So they thought that as long as he's no longer on the ground, he lives abroad, that business can continue as usual. But at the end of the day, it even became worse for them, because from the diaspora, he still was able to coordinate and control activities, and
And create
you know,
ES.
and even created the ESN from the diaspora, So, and we should also understand that the creation of ESN as well also contributed, because as long as you have decided to defend yourself in the kinetic way that ESN have chosen in making sure that our lands are safe, you have denied those who wanted to conquer our land the possibility of conquering. So you make them more angrier. So that is one of the reasons it is more difficult between 2017 and now. Lola.
And to join in a little bit on that, the and the fact that ESM is just safeguarding the territories. We are marking our territories. We're preserving our people, and they've tried to tag us. So if you look around the whole world, Nigeria is the only country that said, "Oh, IPOB is a terrorist organization, and ESN is terrorist." But there's a motocon in Yoruba land. Have they been tagged as a terrorist organization? Mazi, is there? Maybe I'm not aware of that. Is a motocon? Are they tagged as terrorists in Nigeria, in Yoruba
No,
land?
no, Namote Kun was not tagged as a terrorist organization because they were set up by the governors of the Western region.
There you go. So because
Yes.
they refused to set theirs up, Nnamdi Kanu set up the ESN to protect his people, because he just wouldn't sleep, because the cries and wails of our people and gnashing of teeth regarding these terrorists or headers who coming to commit mayhem upon our people. The governors, I think that after that they decided to, whatever it's called, what's it, Ibubag, and that nonsense, to counter, to create a false narrative to tag to ESN. Well, I'm not here to say what everyone already knows, that all the things was to tag ESN or tag IP, but they have failed eventually. And that takes me also to, I saw something here, and what was the person's name? Because I'm actually looking. So um the person said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu went to UN, and he was told to stop writing letters and protest because UN listens only to guns and bullets. He went home and launched ESN within 1 year. This this is why it makes me a bit. I try not to read messages from this person. What's this person's name? Where is this person from? What does this person know about Nnamdi Kanu? Did this person go to UN with Nnamdi Kanu that he's writing this rubbish about fighting? So
Wanda, you don't have to even bother about comment section.
I want to this. When I talk about frontal lobe, it's very important. This person, I want to ask you a question. When Nigeria government comes with whoever allies, what ally do you have to fight with? Can you sustain your armory? Can you sustain safety? or you want more than 10 million people to die once again, is the imbecility for me. And that this is why I don't engage in conversations with these people. I don't read their comments because they're not intelligent enough to engage me. I can't engage them because they can't reason. You know better conversations, you know better information that I have of or with my husband than myself. That is why I say that your cognitive resonance or your cognitive capacity is very little. Do our people actually drink omega? You know, it's good for for the cognitive development in order to enable you to reason appropriately. Guns and bullets. Have you seen our people? Have you actually gone through the whole of the Biafran? Once you go from Asaba, even going into Onitsha, have you seen our people? Have you seen our place? We are yet to be incorporated, included. Another issue here is inclusiveness. We've not been inclusive or included into the program of the people who went through pogrom, who went through genocide. We've not been compensated. We've not healed yet. We are still operating from that pain. We have, being the strong people that we are, we have managed to become who we are today. And you want to shoot gun and bullet. You will shoot gun and bullet. You will be caught and you will be dealt with. The blood of our people, enough of spilling it. The land has been, the balance in the spirit has been disturbed. And you better stop, because in 2025, if you do not stop, guns and bullets, are you fighting in the north? No. Have I ever seen any of you in Abuja blowing somewhere? No, you are in your house with your mental deranged capacity that it has stopped you from reasoning. You cause mayhem and unrest in the land, the place that you are meant to protect, that Nnamdo Kanu raised ESN to protect. How dare you? How dare you? He is protecting his people, and that is the reason he's still in the DSS, standing up for his people. And you're carrying on, killing the same people. Into pieces.
Lord, don't get infuriated because we have better. We have
I'm infuriated. How dare you? You killed your brother and your sister, innocent people, armless people who bear no arm. You take them, you kidnap them in our kingdom.
Lolo, we have a caller here, and we'll be rounding it. We'll be rounding it up very soon. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening and welcome to the program. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Thank you, my fellow comrade, Mazi Patrick, and my name Nwoye Chinedum Nwanweke Aganekwu. We come na Nimo Were. I resided here in Italy, working as a coordinator of IPOB, Milano, precisely. Mazi, I must continue to thank you, and I must continue to thank our First Lady, Iyom Lolo, Uchechu Kanu. Iyom Bilikwa. Bilikwa. Igali keji na wawo. Ati no mu na mama adiri anko. Ochunwa koko nwada nwa koko enwere ngwongwo ọsọ. I see bere.
Ugobere.
Manke si bi ebe na nkukwu anya. Ọkwọ na be ha o, ọgbọ na be Biafra ka ha ga-ebe. Ọkakwa mma na anyị kọwara ọfụma. When I see Chukwu okike abịa mụa na mkpu ana anyị zụtara ọkpa enu na ana anyanwụ na agbara eke na orie na afọ na nkwọ udo na ogwugwu na nkene na arọ ana na aja ana nkwu na akpọ karete ndị mmiri mmụọ ikwu nne mmụọ agwụ mmụọ chi ọnụ ụwa mmụọ yi ụwa mmụọ ezumezu ndị ichie be nna anyị niile mmụọ ezumezu ụmụ ụkwadọla be nna anyị niile mmụọ mkpuke ụmụnne anyị mmụọ ụmụnne anyị mmụọ
Biafra. I say bịa na eke, bịa n'orie, bịa na afọ, bịa na nkwọ, bịa na ha na-anọdụ n'igwe ka ha dọnyere ụmụ ha maka na olugbo dọ mme na gwa ekele nwa gwere lugwo ọtọ n'onye ka anyị chọọ ka anyị tọpụ maka na ihe mere anyị abụ obere ihe were kwesị si na ọ ga-adịrọ ha madike mma ya na ezinụlọ ya na ikwu ibie na eke na orie na afọ akwụ na ha na-anọdụ n'igwe ise.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Thank you.
No, I never finish, Mazi. Wait,
yeah, you have 1 minute, Mazi, because I have a guitar.
Thank you very much. You know, our people forget what happens to us. That is number one. Our people, they forget what happens to us. That's why we are sensitizing to them to understand what happens to us. We did all the things in ways. We need all of them to identify with IPOB. We need all of them to identify with the Directorate of State of Biafra. What's as in open teach IPOB? Ala Biafra when I put that. We want to fish out all the warrant chiefs in our land. They have been our problem because the warrant chiefs do not allow the original chiefs to do the needful. So many of them were chased away to the exile, and so many of them were killed. You understand? So we need those chiefs and those Igwes to identify with IPOB before we react to what we want to react, because we will react. We cannot look in anybody's face. We are not the one created the earth and keep ourselves where we are today. British must know that their time is over. We are not looking at, we're not sentiment on what we're going to do.
No, we're doing our movements.
No sentiment on what we're going to do. We want them to be fast and hold their belt. It's over because they don't want us to breathe. They don't want us to live life like others. They continue exterminating us, putting down on our things, Mazi.
Thank you.
That we know everything they know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mazi.
Thank you, Mazi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that call. Thank you for that wonderful call. We have another caller. Hello, caller. This is a WhatsApp call, please. So if you are calling, you should be calling on WhatsApp, not a direct call. Introduce yourself. Tell us where you are calling from. Hello, caller. Can you hear me? It's gone. Calls. We have millions of calls, so even the one we cannot even. Let's see if we can check this caller. Hello, caller. You have just 1 minute, so we can take more calls.
Hello.
Just 1 minute. Your name and where you are calling from,
Okay.
please.
All right. Thank you very much. This is I'm calling you from Biafra land.
Okay, you have 1
Can you hear me?
minute. You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling you from Biafra land. I want to ask, please, the issue of these people using Nnamdo's picture to accredit their fraudulent fundraising and the rest of them. What is being done about it to stop them from attaching? In that is another way to try to implicate or drag Nnamdo's name in the mud. And secondly, for those who expect
Oops, network.
He's calling. The call keeps breaking. I think I got the message. He's talking about those that are using the picture of the Kanu to do fundraising and things like that.
Oh yes, Mazi. The thing is, you can't actually These people, of course, you see some of their pictures. I'm not sure we can stop everyone from using Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's picture. His picture is a public material, I think. So his picture is all over the place. You see people having Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's picture on their profile, and they're saying IPOB is dead, IPOB is finished. But Nnamdi Kanu is IPOB and IPOB is Nnamdi Kanu. And you have Nnamdi Kanu's picture. It's still that thing that I'm talking about. But mind you, some of these people, they know what they're doing. And IPOB cannot stop these people from using Mazina because some of them are fake
And
accounts.
obviously, there's no copyright to the picture of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu,
Absolutely. So they can use it and do whatever they like.
Yeah.
But that is why we have the IPOB media warriors, and they're doing fantastic job. Likes of you, Mazi, he came as well. Countering that and checkmating, these nonsense. And I kid you not, it is how far that you fought that stopped these imbeciles from tagging IPOB to a terrorism act and tagging Nnamdi Kanu to terrorism act. And then going back to one of our brothers that talked about the difference between the court case and what's happening when Barrister Jaffa and Chief Mike is on, and now what we need to understand also, looking at what has happened, you can see that there is no case. 1, 2, and I saw a video that I just want to even talk about it. I think he's saying Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, what court actually released him. That person needs to go back and follow the court case and the
Yeah. We saw the pig in the creek.
yeah. So I mean, I don't call names, but I do. I deal with people with logical evidences, and I will ask you questions.
One other thing we need to also understand is that a lot of people, the moment they feel they are losing relevance,
Or they're upset.
sometimes they seek some kind of favor from the government. You see them start speaking against to draw attention.
But I want people to understand something, and that is one of the program I've talked about. Women need to also understand their place in the society and the strength and the power that they can wield, not this semantics of gender equality. That word doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Those actually some semantics that makes you look like you're chasing endless goal, because you can say equal opportunity, equal this, but gender equality. I mean, and you've got a man playing football, boxing with you, and you're crying. You're seeking gender equality. So these are these tiny things. But what I was trying to arrive at is that consciousness that I keep saying, you cannot, if you watch the people that like top mafia crimes and the rest of them, when you're known as a rat, when you are known, and people need to learn this, when you go and rat to somebody about your brother, when you become a rat against your brother, against your household, the people that you are working for or working with, they will never value you. They will never value you. So if you need a favor, go and seek your favor. Leave Nnamdi Kanu out. Some of you don't understand the grace. The shadows, the grace and the shadows hovering over Nnamdi Kanu, you don't understand it. And it's beyond you. So if you're seeking relevance, you're seeking government allocation of whatever, you leave Nnamdi Kanu out of it. Because eventually, you will cry. You will cry. It's not just Nnamdi Kanu. People in your workplaces, wherever, stop using people. And I don't understand what that means, because when I'm saying this, I'm talking from the energy point of views. When you create that ripple, when you create that unbalance or imbalance in energy, you speak against someone and you get it boomerangs, it goes back and it comes to it doesn't last. People need to understand that, but because they want their toilet investment, I call money and all this nonsense. I call them toilet investment because people die and leave these things. You just need just a little bit enough for yourself and to help your neighbor. That's all you need. You don't need excess. You don't need the one you will hide in the grave. The money it means you have a mental problem for you to hide money in the grave. When your community members are ill, no hospital for them, no school, no good roads, and you're hiding money in the graves in a room you need to be taken to a psychiatric hospital and be dealt with because your greed knows no bounds. One of the seven sins, greed. It's very dangerous because it
But
can
no, I think we already had a history repeating itself because during the civil war between Nigeria and Biafra, we also saw the
quite a
role
lot of rats. Yes,
Adakaboro played in. He was also contracted from the Riverine to fight against the Interland, and
of
at the end
course.
of the day, he actually killed a lot of our people, especially a lot of Igbos within the Riverine
And
areas.
how did he end?
And at the end of the war, when the war was almost rounding up, the same people who contracted him, assassinated him. So we should also try as much as possible to make reference to history, because history has a way of repeating
Of
itself.
repeating itself because the mankind, the human. Sometimes when I keep saying humans, my sister will say, "You're not a human." I'm half human. I'm not your complete human. I'm just half. The human mind is so shallow. Stop ratting out your brother in order to ingratiate yourself. That's the English word for it. You ingratiate yourself. And that is why I don't like eye service people. And when I see you and you're an eye service person, I know you. I know you. Do your work because you want to do your work. Seek favor because you want a favor from someone. But do not use someone or begin to speak against someone you don't understand the embodiment of that person. Oh,
Yes.
but yeah.
So Lolo, I think we have to start rounding up because I see that we've really spent a very, very long time. Unfortunately, we cannot take all the calls. Very, very unfortunate. Unfortunately, because I have millions and millions and millions of calls coming in, and we cannot take them. If we decide to stay here, we might be spending till midnight. Hello, let's take this last caller before we round up. Hello, last caller.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all Biafrans all over the world. My name is Nwafo Yekachi. Nwafo Yekachi is calling you from Derby, United Kingdom. Because I have to be disciplined, there's no more time again to waste because discipline should be our watchword. I greet my leader, Mazi Kanu. And my happiness today is not because Mazi Kanu is in DSS custody. It's not because of our land is being in shambles. But my confidence and my support, my confidence is that Mazi Kanu is trustworthy. And we have the structure which has kept for us, which is Mazi DOS. That's why I'm very, very much happy today. And also I have the woman that is worth doing, Lolo Uchechu Opukanu. I greet you. But before I depart, I want to use this song for you. Nnamdi Kanu dị ebube, dị ebube, dị ebube. Nnamdi Kanu dị ebube, akọ na uche ya ahụ otu a.
Yes. Oh, thank you,
Thank
Mazi.
you very much. Thank you. Thank
That was
you.
quite
And
uplifting. Yes.
he is going to be our last caller for today, unfortunately. And I want to apologize to Biafrans. I cannot take further calls. We've spent a good time, a very, very long time, unfortunately. But, well, it all depends on Lolo as we are stepping into the new year. If she's still ready to engage with BTV in 2025, we would always be open to to her coming to interact with Biafrans. Then for many of you who have called and cannot reach us, reserve your questions for 2025 when Lolo might definitely come on board
Mazi,
again.
I'll try to do that. Amongst other things that I do, I coach. I don't counsel. I don't counsel. I don't. Counselors, they play around words and the rest of it. I coach. So it's just like you're playing football. Your coach tells you what to play and how to maneuver things. So out of the experience that I've had all my life, and out of the journey that I had taken in the spiritual part as well. So it enables me to work with energies and things. So I'll be teaching quite a lot, and I coach our people for free, and I've done quite a lot in the last few. That's also part of my strength that I draw. When you know that someone needs to draw strength from you, you stay strong as well. So yeah, Mazi, I will come to BTV in 2025.
Yes, yeah, we hope to welcome you back. But today's program also did not also go by without negative comments. It's also
Mhm.
important that we recognize that there are still
Absolutely, we need to.
yes. It is also very important that we also recognize that there are Biafrans who are not satisfied, who feel
Wait, I called them
yeah,
wait.
feel that things would have been done differently, who have the negative mindset as a result of one form of indoctrination or the other. We acknowledge them, and we cannot just say they do not exist. These individuals exist. Some of them genuine, some of them contracted, but notwithstanding, we recognize them. So while we are here, we represent Biafrans in general, and we represent the interests of Biafrans at large. And I believe that gradually our people will start coming to terms with the reality to really understand that you cannot get Biafra on a platter of sentiment or on a platter of coming to social media to dance and do comedy and entertainment. It is beyond that. The work that is done behind is greater than the ones you see on the screen. So it is important that our people understand that our freedom cannot come just only on social media. And our freedom cannot come by coming out to say everything we are doing behind the scenes. There
And
are
we can.
certain things that will be done behind the scenes that will be reserved for the future. And that is why you also have certain documents that are referred to as what is it called? Concealed document that maybe in the next 30 years, some of these documents are going to be made available and become part of history. So you see the things that were done behind the scenes that eyes didn't see. So that is where the management of the Directorate of State comes in. They cannot always come on social media to dance and shake their boots for you and
They're
make you
busy.
feel good and entertain you and sing and play guitar and play instrument for you. No, that is not their job. Their job is to work behind the scenes in the areas of diplomacy, in the areas of international relations, in the areas of coordination, in the areas of trying to make friends around the world. And don't forget that there are certain friends that we are going to make now that would also tell us, please don't bring our friendship on social media. There are countries who are going to tell you, we are going to be your friends, but we don't want the Nigerian state to know about our relationship with you. And you must, as a leader and as the leadership, be able to give these countries and entities that confidence to believe that you can keep classified information
So if you don't keep it, they will withdraw.
within the
They withdraw.
confines
Mhm.
of that relationship and within the standard of international laws and relationships. So our people need to look beyond the social media activities. Uh, Biafra struggle is beyond that. Somebody just, somebody reminded me, said declassified information. So there are certain information that are classified in the struggle that we never, that even this generation might never have access to it. It could be for the next generation, because these are the instruments that are needed to help us safeguard and protect the journey towards Biafra restoration. Lolo Uchechi Kanu, it's my pleasure to have you. I'll be glad to see you again in the future. And I want to ask you the last question about what message you have for our people as we step into 2025.
Thank you, Mazi. Before I dish that out, I just want to point something that you just said now about documents and classification of documents. The document that was written years ago in order to stunt Biafrans from emerging, or Biafra from emerging as a nation, it wasn't made public up until just recently. And like I said earlier, Chivalry has mentioned it. So you think these people don't see things, or you think the leadership hasn't seen something like that, or you think Nnamdo is not aware of that. So when we are in a group and you have, that is why there is hierarchical stages of things. You have phases. You have there. You have from the office of the president or whatever, going down to local government chairman. There are information that they're not privy to, and the communities won't be privy to as well. That is why they are being led. So our people need to understand most of these things, and just consciousness, I keep saying it, is very important. Being able to determine what to do at the right time, what information you need at the right time. Some information, some people are not capable of handling it. They can't even interpret it correctly. So we'll leave it at that. To 2025, the message that I have for Biafran, there is nothing I'm going to say here that I have never said before. And there is nothing that our people, Biafrans, have not heard in the past, or whatever they're going to hear now that they've not heard before. Regardless, I would still say something. I'll just allude to the interview that I had on Radio Biafra, UK Timeout, on the 22nd of December, 2024, where we focused more on reflections and which would lead to reformation and then transformation. Part of the reason that I started a consciousness journey is not because it's something that is fun or something, but it's something that was born out of necessity, something that was born out of burden that is a heavy burden that ladens my heart. That 95% of our people are not conscious. And we need to reform that. It is very important. And as we go into 2025, I want every Biafran, every lover of Nnamdo Kanu. There's something Oyende said to me when I saw him the last time. I was telling him something and he said to me, have you wondered why I protected you? I mean, I didn't want you in public for years. I'm like, okay, I'm not really a public person. He said to me, because whoever wants to attack me will attack you. Whoever that wants to attack me, whoever that wants to insult me will insult you. Do you not know that? So of course I know. I know. And he said to me, he's always told me never to come to, because that's where I am there. I mean, it's not my fault. You don't have to be upset about it. It is what it is. So I can't come here and start playing in the mud with dirt. And I'll continue to say it. I am an eagle, but it doesn't mean that I don't fight. It doesn't mean that I don't swoop on my enemies. So I circle quite high, I soar quite very high, and that is why I do not have that capacity to come on the ground and run around with snakes
Yeah, but
because,
Lola, for me, if you ask me, I see you as somebody with a more bigger burden, a more greater responsibility.
of course, Mazi,
You understand what I'm saying? So,
and if
like
I'm
I said
stressing,
earlier, it
yeah,
is a question of priority. Are you ready?
absolutely.
Are you
But
ready
then
to? Yes.
sometimes is the question of priority, and I don't have. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm there. I'm busy. But sometimes, if I have a certain nest, you know what I mean, to protect, and these swirling animals are swirling all over the place, I will swoop down and I'll pick you up. I will take you up there. I will fling you around and I will drop you from there. That's how I fight. Okamakadi and mama. So, having said that, in 2025, I want Biafrans to know that they are special, they are peculiar, and I want them to behave like the eagle, to fly so high, to understand the field, the warfare, the strategy, to begin to work differently. Enough of the cha 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 cha. Enough of it. And one of the conversations I had with Onyendo is the Igbo man likes entertainment. Maz, just as I said it, we need to cut short on these distractions. Some of these distractions, these people, they need to be in it. You know, we don't say enough on mental health. We don't say enough on disorders. There are different types of disorders that people go through. We don't say enough on it, and we allow these people to create entertainment. We some of us seek to get entertainment from these people who actually need help. So, having said that, I want the people who are truly for the restoration of Biafra, not for content creation or plays on social media, because this is far beyond social media. Also know that your enemy is also on the social media. You should know that. You should be mindful as well. So as we go into 2025, it should be your year of consciousness. And in that consciousness, you are starting with reflection. So we still have how many more days to go? 3 more days or
What 3 days? Yeah.
to go into 2025. So start your reflection now. Start personal growth. That is another problem. Continuous learning. We don't do continuous learning. We don't. It's just some companies, they focus so much on Kaizen and continuous improvement to better them. So you evolve. You're continuously evolving. Even in spirituality, you can see it, some people are using they use laptop. You have to find a way to evolve with the time. So, time and season, constant. How do you live through it? You reflect from now. By your 31st, Mazi asked me why people do New Year resolution, and by April is all scattered like a pack of cards. And I did talk about how if the resolution or the decision one has taken is fictitious or is bogus or is out of eye service. So let's not carry on with this eye service thing. We need to stop. There's so much distractions in our place. All this Omega One. We like noise. I don't know how we love this show off. And I said that before. If we begin to drill down from of this show off traits, you have so much traits to pick from drilling down on show off. So because you want to show off, you begin to show desperation to get what you want. You want to be seen. And then you lose consciousness, you
I
throw
want to impress. I want to impress.
and you want to impress, you want to be validated, validation, because some of the things going on social media is people seeking validation. They don't come out to tell you I'm seeking validation. By their actions, is validation that they seek. We don't seek validation. We did not seek validation. Nnamdo Kanu did not seek anybody's validation. You joined him because you heard his voice. You joined him because you understood the pain of our people and that he is reflected, and he was going through reformation, and we need transformation. So I just want us to use this thing that the UK national coordinator worked on the interview that we had, That is what we should go through in 2025. Let it be our year of transformation, that we begin to think, which is reflection, and that leads us to reform. And in reformation is a process of you putting things in place in order to achieve your transformation. Transformation is a picture. You see a picture, or you see a soup, or you see just a picture of what you have in mind displayed. Before that picture took place, or before you took that picture, or you drew a drawing, what did you put in place? That is your reformation, the action that you put in place, the process. And that will be continuous learning. That will be learning, unlearning to relearn. Don't stick so much on what you think you know. You go on social media, you write as if you don't reason.
Lolo, your level of communication they quite too high. Some people can never understand you, no matter how you the echelon of your communication is too high for some people to really understand. That
Mazi,
is,
I break it down. So, for example,
I don't know. I
we
don't
go
know
to
how you
church.
can interpret it, but I believe that a lot of people cannot even relate to what you are talking about. Many cannot, because the level of this communication is too high for
Okay, so
some people to
one
relate
of the
with you.
reasons of this program that we are going to have as women is also consciousness. So a lot of people will have speakers who would speak. It's not going to be about IPOB, or but it's going to be about women in the society, African women in the society, because that consciousness needs to be reignited. So to break this down, you in the Naga church, you go to church, asigi, who wants to give their life to Christ? Potana altar call. You ipota, and then you're asked to kneel down and say a prayer after the pastor. This is the only nearest example I can use now, Mazi. And you give your life to Christ. Now, there are reasons to why you want to do that. In reflection, you have thought about your life. Ndụ ibiri, the life you've lived throughout 2024. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? Positive reflection. Now there is negative reflection. You can continue to think on how to go and kidnap your brother. That the other one, on the other no gbajara agbajo, you wanted to catch that one. That one escaped. You want to relaunch attack and kidnap that person. You will not. I'm talking about positive reflection, to think in these steps I've taken in my personal life as well, because in your personality you bring it into places that you find yourself. Somehow it will emanate. So in your reflection, you say, major, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do right? What can I improve? Now that comes with consciousness. You need to know. You must be awake, not timwanya, not to sleeping. Mental consciousness. If you are aware and if you're conscious, then you will realize that you need to reflect. So in your reflection, you identify these areas that you need to improve, or you need to behave better, you need to do better. And then in reformation, you begin to draw out steps, processes on how to go about it. So I'll give you another example. In 2024, Nigerian citizens, they were shouting, I no agree for anybody, I will not go agree. Even the military guys or the police, they were worried about it. They had to give an interview saying, oh, why, they were worried about it. But what did Nigerians do? Did they agree for somebody? Did they not agree or whatever? They didn't. They jettisoned that, and it was just a mantra. It's one of the things as well that when you take resolution, when you make reflections, when you have reflections and reform and your transformation, before it takes place, it just shatters, never comes to reality, because it was bogus, or you've just followed the mantra. And towards the end of the year, by August, they started to use the English, like they just learned the word steez. That's what they say now. Oh, steez. So whoever that wants to say something has to add steez to it. You know, their life
Lolo, I don't
is
agree for anybody. It's just an excitement of a new, it was spoken out of excitement, not because there is an ideology behind it.
Behind it.
You
So that
understand
is
what I'm
why they
saying?
want to shut us down. You need to know why IPOB is under attack, because this is a different form of people. These sort of people, this Nnamdi Kanu said, after us, there will be none. There was none like us. There will be none after we are gone. That should mean something to you. Some of the things that Nnamdi Kanu said, we're taking literally. They take it literally. They don't understand. When you say, oh, ngala zoo ni, is zoo not, I don't like, I mean, that's not the kind of word that I use. But when he said, I will destroy Nigeria with the truth, I will do this, he didn't mean it that he's going to bomb them or fight. And they took it literally. When he said, Somalia will be better than Nigeria, who was Nigeria getting food from? Food aid from? That is what he meant. You don't take things literally when you say things like that. So you need to understand the difference between your ideology, standing as an IPOB. They are afraid. This existence of Biafrans, they've never seen it before. So it's okay to be afraid of what you do not understand. People are always afraid of what they don't understand until they begin to understand it. And that is why we will continue to fight as individual and as a group. So enough of the creating of groups all over the place is not helping us. It's not helping us. It's time for us to prove our enemies wrong. They are relaxed, like, oh, they kill themselves. No, we need to stop. Let's reflect consciousness, patriotism, because when you love your sibling, growing up, you can't beat my sister. If you beat my sister, I'll come after you. I will come after you. And that is what mothers do. That is what fathers do. They protect their territory. They preserve their own. You protect your children. And that is what Nnamdi Kanu is doing, protecting his people. So we, on the other hand, we need to help him to protect the land. Stop supporting evil. When you hear something, try and hear on the other side, because your 6 might be someone else's 9. Just try and understand the position the person is trying to come and see how you can reposition that person's 9, because it can be repositioned. So reflection, reformation, and then transformation. Let's transform to light. Let's transform to safety. Let's transform to, I'm going to share some of the videos. I mentioned it. I had to go and kind of clear out the bushes and the stream that nobody actually fetch water from any longer for over 20 years was made. People go to fetch water now. So think sustainability in terms of creating a job or curbing the poverty. We're going into January. Think the leadership had done their seedling where they gave out seeds, and there was bountiful harvest in the land, and that was good. So if we can practice more on that, go into cash crops, we know what cash crop is all about, and start going into things. We need to secure our territory. We can't do that. I need to they don't want us to become a nation, but we can do something to secure our territory. We've secured that insecurity, not completely, but we're still working on that. Nothing is set in stone at the moment because it's not all needed. So if we have support that we can give to ESN, we continue to give the ESN the support to protect our land. And then we'll talk about food. And then we'll begin to talk about, from food, we're growing our economy. We need to secure our place. And then before
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Where I wanted to come in. The jog self does not even have enough food.
They don't take ordinary corn. Okay.
They don't even have enough food that can carry them for one day. So how do you go to war empty-handed?
The same person would go and rat his brother out. See, look, ebe ha zoro nye ha small gari ndị iberibe. Mazi, I think that's what I have for people.
I really
reflection, reformation, and transformation, because we cannot expect to get the same result doing the same thing. We need to change. I don't understand.
No, the truth of the matter is that the program to destabilize IPOB was planned out because those we are fighting absolutely understand the importance of unity. There was a statement that one ex-governor made sometime in an interview where he used the parable of the people of God trying to build a tower and how God set confusion in their midst by making them speak in different languages. He didn't mention IPOB, but he just gave you the principle that was applied against IPOB, even though he was talking about something different. So if such people can give you this kind of interpretation, and we know he has played a role directly and indirectly in the destabilization of IPOB, and he came out with this type of parable, that gives you a picture of what IPOB had to face as at the time when Mazi Kanu was extraordinary rendition. So what they did was actually to set in that confusion by making us speak in different languages so that we will not be able to achieve the aim of building that Tower of Babel that threatened them. So it is important that our people understand in 2025 that we need to take a new approach to issues. But unfortunately, again, I also see deficiency in the areas of enlightenment and education. Because when you see some of the people that are creating, that are being used, you are able to evaluate their level of their level of education and their level of enlightenment. You will not be able to judge why they fell in so easily. There is
Mazi,
something,
that's
yeah,
where
there is, yes,
sorry,
there is
sorry.
something you talked. I will let you in. There is something you talked about entertainment, and I can tell you that while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was educating our people over the years, many people were actually enjoying that or
That
aura. Yes, that aura of his
his
communication.
voice
That
and
yes, for them
man.
it was entertaining. They weren't getting in the message. They were enjoying that aura, the way he was speaking, and So when he speak those grammars, you see them say, "Oh, Hamadike, yeah." Even when they cannot even relate, they enjoy that entertainment angle of his communication,
That's
not
very
taking
dangerous.
in the message. Yes,
That's very dangerous. So that is why the enemy said, "Let's give them let's get someone to
that
learn.
can cover that gap, that can cover that
Let's give them
areas of
someone that would have
yes.
gimmicks of that will talk like Nnamdi Kanu."
And that is why you also saw that the person that was presented to them tried to be like Nnamdi Kanu, because they also needed to present somebody like Nnamdi Kanu.
But
You know
you can't
that
be.
yes,
Number
somebody
one,
that can
you're
fit into that role. Yes.
depressing. But that's the thing. That's how our people, you get to understand that they were not listening to Nnamdi Kanu at all. They just like them onaba. But the person that was giving you the gimmicks of Nnamdi Kanu and gesticulations of Nnamdi, pretending it is the insult for me. It is the insult.
No,
They should have
obviously,
they should have brought
obviously.
someone who is schooled, someone who is refined, someone
No,
who
but,
has strength
Lolo,
and weight and
don't
clout
forget
to
that,
march.
don't
Not
forget that in 2017, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu escaped Operation Python dance, there was this setting that was put
you know.
together.
Sorry, Mazi. I said Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Sorry, Mazi came. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That very Operation Python dance would be, in fact, like I said, I have a lot, and when people follow me, in the end, all the gossips, it's not gossip, but the real true story of things will be made known. This is a very peculiar case, and we are peculiar people. And the Nnamdi Kanu's case is quite a profile case. Mandela dealt with these people here, the British government, people who are amenable to reasoning. We are dealing with people who are they don't even understand what you're saying. They can't even interpret their own law. So what are you trying to say? So we're facing a much higher tribulation here. But having said that, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has laid the path, And he's hoping that these people would go back and listen to his broadcast and drill down. Now, when you hear or they keep saying, "Oh, British government, divide and rule, divide and rule." Can you tell me the meaning of divide and rule? Can you break it down? Because for me, like I said, everything I find meaning in every form of creation. I find meaning in the infinity of it all. I find meanings. Divide and rule. What happens in divide and rule? So, Mazi, to just allude to what you said, we need to create programs for our people. Nothing happens in our place, and I have taken steps to start something in the educational line, and our people need to be educated. Very, very important. So there will be programs that we will create. We will create simulations. Our people need to be triggered and stimulated. So continuous learning. We need to bring all these programs. We need our children. I feel horrible. In fact, these are the people that Nnamdi Kanu, we are all fighting for. The generation that I know already, you know. We are already old, but we're fighting for our generation, for our sustainability. That is what we're fighting. So
Yes.
we need to create these educational forums where people I don't mind in Biafra land, whatever, we have people coming, not ile moving, not this social media with it will put you into you whilst you're watching the world is going far. What are you watching? Skits. That is the new form of living. We need to anticipate things, create programs, simulation, get people to think. Our people don't think, and that is the problem. Give them puzzles to solve. It triggers a part of them that is dormant. They all have brains, but it's not stimulated. It's not working. It's dormant. So it needs to be stimulated. Can I use that frontal lobe that I keep talking about? I'm going to repeat it again. It needs to be stimulated. It needs to be activated. And that is where you will begin to have change and transformation. I'll leave it here, Mazi. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Wada. Thank you very much, Lolo. Oyenkai. We really appreciate you coming, and it's a wonderful time with you. Biafrans all over the world, I say thank you very much. It's past 3 hours that we've been here. And on my own side, too, on my own part, I have given my own best to make sure that you get the message and be able to key into today's program. And like I said, in 2025, we are going to do more in engagement. We are going to do more in outreach. We are going to do more in educating our people. We are going to do more in enlightening the mind of our people so that we can no longer be taken for granted in the future. The experience of the past should be a reason and model that we should follow to make sure we do not repeat the mistakes in the future, because we must understand that we cannot trade on the path of 1967 to 70.
Yeah.
Because we never anticipated that angle of the fight. And that is the reason we must be able to understand, so that if the history of the past will not repeat itself. And until I come your way again, my name remains Mazi. I think I went off the screen. I was talking, I went off the screen like I didn't know where I stopped. I said we must not allow the experience of the past, that we never anticipated that food blockade will be the reason for Biafrans losing the war between 1967 to 70. And the question we should be asking, if we have to go into another war, how are we prepared in that area to make sure we do not?
Not just that area, other areas.
Just for example, because this was one of the reasons that made us ordinary food blockade, which means we should learn the lesson that you cannot fight on an empty belly. And this is the reason we continue to promote agriculture, not because we are going to war,
No,
but
we're not.
food security and food insecurity is another type of war too. So we should focus in 2025 to make sure we create abundance, create job for our people, no matter how little and local it is. But I believe it will contribute also to our Eastern economy and make sure that we liberate ourselves economically, because the level of poverty as it stands today is huge, and we cannot, under any circumstances, live with the level of poverty that we are experiencing. We look at how people are dying in stampede because they want to share food, which is not in our character. This is a new trend where you now see Igbos going to share food.
But the politicians started that sharing to cup rice during
during election.
So it's
Now,
graduating into
yes, so, and this have been the mentality of the Fulanis, the Almajiris, sharing. It has not in our culture. So we have to work very hard to make sure that we are not locked into a culture that is alien to us. These are the issues we must attend to in 2025, so that by December 2025, we will no longer have stampede in Biafra land of people going to die because of a bag of rice. And this is where I'm going to leave my message. And Wada Lolo Uchechi Kanu, thank you very much for honoring our invitation. And until we see you Biafrans again, I want to say have a wonderful 2024 and the future 2025, where we'll all be meeting again. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mazi.
Thank you.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Hey, there are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, ideal and heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna press us. Rather you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood, couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobunigwe was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. us freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home.